It's just never what I want.
Wait, hold on.
Guys,
Damn
hold
it.
on. We're supposed to do a podcast. We're talking about real estate.
What's the budget? Max.
I'm not going to tell you. This is the worst thing to ask on the air. Now that we're recording,
what's your social security?
I may want to move, and Bianca likes to look for places voluntarily for her friends, and so I told her what I wanted, and then we'll hit the button. We'll hit the button, and we have no choice but to go.
Hi.
Hey. Tell me everything.
You look really good.
Thank you. Tell me everything.
My little sea boy. My little.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Guys, I mean, there's a lot of quandaries here. So, all right, so here's what happened. Did you do anything this week before I launch into so that I do a 10-minute monologue and they're like, let her speak. I'm telling a story, you fucking assholes.
You're yelling at nobody.
I'm yelling at 3 people.
Okay.
Will's got a burner where he says let her speak on my Twitter. Anything?
No, just go, goddammit.
Okay. So you guys know I direct commercials, right? So there's seagulls outside and they sound like women screaming, and every time it's going to make me laugh because nothing's funnier than women screaming. We'll get to Rich Ramirez later. Now, I don't do beer. I don't do alcohol. But somehow my guy Sagal was like, well, I'll pay you more for a Corona commercial. Okay. Supposed to shoot in LA. Then they move it to Dallas for the talent. And I'm like, I don't really want to go to Dallas. Not because I'm against Dallas. I don't want to get COVID. So I say, I'll do it. You got to fly me private. Just like, I don't want to do it if I'm going to. And
how many instant trees did you plant?
So they do. I haven't done that yet. I'm going to. Thank you. You're right to ask. You're absolutely right to ask. But Corona does so much for the community. I thought it was worth it. Fly private and get there Tuesday night. I got tested Monday, negative. Test Tuesday. I think that was rapid, negative. Wednesday, negative. And we shoot Wednesday, 12 hours inside. Everyone's wearing masks and shields, and there's spray. It's just like, it's a pain, but whatever. And then Thursday morning, I get a phone call that I tested positive. Okay? So now I'm in a hotel in Dallas and I've tested positive. I was like, fuck. I knew I shouldn't have come here.
Yeah.
Pointing fingers. Why'd you make me do all this shit that's childish? The best parts of my personality. And so I'm stuck in Dallas. So I take another test that day. The positive I got Thursday morning, I actually took Wednesday night. Then I take a test Thursday morning, get it back. After the positive Thursday morning, I get it back Thursday night, and it's negative. Okay? So now I'm 1 for 1. 1 and 1.
Right.
I mean, really, I'm 4 and 1, but whatever.
But no, once you've gotten positive.
So I'm like, all right, well, let's take another one. So I take one Thursday night. Or no, I'm sorry. Anyhow,
yeah.
I took another one Friday, got another negative. So at that point, legally, you can travel. So I leave Saturday morning and get back here Saturday and take a test yesterday, negative again. So I'm 3 negatives and 1 positive, which is kind of the way my personality is anyway. And but the question is, the funny thing is, when you think you have it, I took a 4-hour fever. I was like, I have a fever. I didn't have a temperature. I didn't have a thermometer. I'm like, I have a fever. I have to go to sleep. Sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. And then get a thermometer, and I'm like, I'm burning up. 98.1.
Yeah.
The fuck? Like I never thought I had a dry cough. I thought I had any of the symptoms. And when you look at it, even my demographic, my age, almost nobody dies. It's just I'm like, well, I'm not going to die. So then it was just a matter of sitting in a hotel room that sucked. And it's 48 degrees in Dallas and overcast and just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, I'm not used to this. I
I'm
like
comfy.
the sun, guys.
I'm comfy.
If it rains, it stops, and then it goes back to sunny.
That's true.
In LA. Now the question is.
Well, you kept taking tests, and you've.
Yeah. The question. I'm not. The moral aspect of it isn't testing. The moral aspect of it is. Oh, the one dumb thing I did was in Dallas. In the restaurant at the hotel, it was like open, and there were like, it's a big restaurant. There were very few people in it. So I said to Jesse, the AD, I was like, let's eat some. Meanwhile, I've never gone to a restaurant in LA.
I know.
In a year. I don't know. It's just this. It's like suggestibility where you're just like, I've just been on a plane with you for 4 hours. Then I was at a work thing, and then I'm like, we can sit in an open restaurant and have the waiter come over twice. Seems fine. And ultimately it was fine. There was a point where it wasn't fine because I had COVID. Then it turns out I didn't have it. Everything I did was forgivable. Well, now the question is, was it forgivable? Are the state laws, like as a person in California, you can't do much.
Today we can.
Now we can. We'll get to that in a second. But you can't. Restaurants are closed. Like, there's nothing you can do. And having said that, when they were open, I didn't eat outside. I didn't do any of this shit. I ate outside once.
Yeah, you went to Butcher's Daughter.
Yeah, Butcher's Daughter. You guys remember?
I keep tabs on my man.
So, was I wrong? Did I do anything wrong? Is really the question.
I don't know if that's the question.
What do you think the question is?
The question is, for me, more it was a real-time experiment. It was a real-time experiment of how accurate the tests are, because we in LA, a lot of the like easy access tests were all done by Curative. Well, we didn't talk about it, but an article came out about how Curative is just some rinky-dink dude, some 24-year-old that just started this company, and they got a $65 million contract with LA, and 60% of their tests are bunk. They're just false negatives. They just tell
you your astrological sign. Like, but this isn't helpful.
Send you
Curative.
home with a crystal.
What?
So apparently they were using. They just, when someone comes into like a load of discounts.
It's a wild, wild west.
Yeah. It's just like, yo, we got all these discounts with someone
there was a mask kid who was doing that. Just like some mask piece of shit. Yeah.
So it's like, now I'm really confused on the accuracy of the tests. And I feel like, okay, let's take your guy, all your stats. Let's give him 12 tests. How many are going to be false?
The funny thing was one other person, the local producer of the commercial, tested positive.
Okay.
Then had 2 negatives. He was in the same batch as me. I dealt with him, but not very much. And he had a positive, and then last I heard 2 negatives. So
it's like, are we? Is the problem that all of our shit's on some junk science tests? Like, I don't know what there's a lot of different tests out there used by different people.
You're saying that these are mood rings. That's what you're saying. We're all taking
COVID
mood rings.
day today. Because I got tested after the Curative thing. I started getting tested at Kaiser, and someone sits you down. They put it in your throat and then up your nose, and then they call you either way. And that was the most thorough.
They do your nose and your throat?
But they do throat and nose.
Same swab, ladies and gentlemen.
Same swab, but they don't go the gross way.
They do
They go the least
It's all
gross
the
way.
gross way.
It's gross, but at least there's your boogers aren't in your mouth.
They do your throat, and then they do your nose.
They do throat, then one nostril, then the other.
Jesus.
And someone does it, and then
these guys really want to know if you have COVID or not.
it's so weird. They're so nosy. So then someone calls you no matter what. So someone called me the next day and said, "You're negative," and that was the only time I felt like.
Well, that's
cool.
a whole other issue, which is like they weren't telling me. They did call me with the They do call you with the positive, which is pretty AIDS.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, it's very AIDS-y.
Yeah.
Hey, are you sitting down? But I wonder how the reliability of the tests we're taking, reliability of the rapids, reliability of we don't know where you're getting the test.
That I don't look. I understand that it's not going to be foolproof in a 10-month-old.
For sure.
Thing.
No, I do.
I don't. It's. That's why you just take more. It's almost like you should. If you get a positive, they should all be free or something. I don't know.
Right.
It was different companies, so. But it's like yesterday I was supposed to get the results between 6 and 8, and I got them at 10:30 at night. Like, fuck you guys. So
it's like the cable company.
Yeah, it's worse than the cable company because they don't tell you if we're gonna come and tell you if you're gonna live or die between 6 and 8.
Were you scared?
No. I mean, you play out I knew it. I knew it was going to come to this. I knew it was me.
Did you do the detective, like the Professor Mustard in the observatory?
Which hot gust did it to me? Like fucking that hot gust that I fucking felt from that guy's mouth. There was a point where apparently I was on a Zoom call in a smallish office that the other guy who got a positive had been in. Yeah, I was cursing the guy. He wasn't skinny like me. I'll say that. That came into my screaming.
Oh, Neal. Discrimination.
Not a vegan.
Discrimination.
I'll say that. Yeah, but I didn't. And then that, once you get a negative, but it's 8 hours or 10 hours of positivity.
Which was so negative.
Yeah, negative positivity. So I wonder if I was nothing happened. Do you know what I mean? Like was I a fool forever going to Texas? And then I went to Palm Beach for the Gatorades. I just make everyone get super tested. And that was fine. So I don't know what's the dumb thing and what's a fine thing to do. I still don't know. Will went to Hawaii. No one's shitting on Will.
I learned a lot.
Will took a non-necessary vacation to Hawaii, which,
Yeah. Yes. Made no money.
He didn't even go to the beach, though. That was
made
the
no
thing.
money.
Made no money.
The money's here, Will. The money's at my house.
We had to work extra hard, and Will didn't even go to the beach.
No.
Sorry.
That's actually my favorite. That's how he got back in my good graces by not going to the beach.
Oh, he did enjoy it. You're like, okay, fine.
Well, as long as you don't have fun.
Sick. You're sick.
Go wherever you want.
You're sick.
So I don't know. I didn't learn. It's one of those things where I learned nothing. That was a complete wash where I thought, and then I made everyone get tested more than they wanted to. I just was thorough about it. It was good money. And so I don't fucking know. Now here's another ethical question.
Come on.
You know about these backwash vaccines? Backwash.
Tell me.
So there's hospitals in LA. Once you open either Pfizer or the other one, AstraZeneca, I think. Moderna. Sorry. Once you open the package, they have 8 hours to use them. So there's a couple hospitals in LA where you can line up because people don't show up. So
yeah, you can line up.
Now there was an article that young LA vaccine chasers
But they can't get
unofficial standby lines in hopes of a shot.
They can't get it.
Yeah, they can.
No, they can't.
Why not?
You have to be. You can come, but as soon as they get there, you have to be in the tier that's open right now, and the only tier that's open is whatever worker. What's it called? Exceptional worker. What the hell?
Incorrect.
No. 100%. Because I thought
I know a guy who's 32 and got it, and is in none of the categories.
Because when I read a thing about it, I'm like, oh shit, we could just line up and get it. And they were saying that it said that they're standing in line unnecessarily because they get turned away if they don't qualify. So maybe there's some.
Well, you may be getting that confused with.
I know. I read it yesterday. So maybe it's just some unofficial shit.
It's if somebody over 65 is in the line, they jump the line.
Right. No, what I read was that everybody's rushing to these because they're going to go bad. So get in line. And when they get up to it, they basically, all the extras go to the
I could
essential
call
workers.
the guy right now who got it.
No, this isn't about me and you. I'm just
I'm
saying that's what I read.
He's living proof that that's not the system.
Right, but I don't know if is that not the system, or is that an unofficial, like, fuck it, if you're there and it's going to go bad. You know what I mean?
Well, why would they? They're not going to throw it away.
I get that, but the article literally said if you're not in the thing.
Read this LA Times article. It doesn't say that, and that while they do not have standby lines, some people are given doses that would otherwise be wasted. That's from the LA County Department of Health.
Right, but who are the people? I mean, I believe that your friend.
No. If I don't want to read the article on the line, but I don't want to read it on the podcast. But there's an article in the LA Times. LA Times, hell of a paywall. You can't even really get one article in the. You can get COVID articles, but that's it.
Yeah, you send me so much New York Times. It's like, you've had enough for them. I'm like, fucker.
Yeah, I'm trying to send you a message. So
that's crazy.
So then there's an ethical. Of course, these vaccines should be going to the people that they're meant to go. No, they're meant to go to 65-year-olds. Well, they can't take work off. What do you want me to do about it? I mean, what do you want me to do about it?
Yeah,
it became a race thing. Like, this should be going to underserved. Okay, I'm just a guy. So what should I do about it?
So now with those people that like got in, it's like there's no more 65 or anybody who qualifies, and they're gonna go bad. So whoever's like, so what? So now they have to get they don't have to do that for the second shot, do they?
The second shot, I don't know. My guess is you don't have to wait in the line again.
Yeah, because it's like you need it, or else it's not.
You're joning. You're fiending.
I got a monkey on my back.
I'm fiending for a vax fiender.
Vax fienders.
So, I'm thinking about this.
Yeah, but you don't like standing in lines.
I don't like standing in line to get backstage at concerts. I'll do anything for a fucking vaccine. I'll stand in a line.
When I first saw that, I was like, oh, I'd do it. And then I read the article that was like, oh, they stand in line for hours and get turned away. So I was like, okay, no thanks. But now
the guy who told me got it, and he said he had 10 people get it on Saturday, and none of them are old. None of them are early response. None of them are necessary workers. None of them. They're improv people.
We need to save the improv.
I mean, they need a suggestion of a place. They need a place to work and a name and a funny job. So am I wrong for maybe thinking about getting this?
Oh no, now I know as I'm going. What the hell? I really was like about to, and then my hopes were dashed when I researched it.
Yeah.
But maybe it depends on hospitals. Maybe it depends on that day. Not enough qualifiers came in, so fuck it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's better to get everybody vaccinated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm doing my civic duty. I thought
I'm doing my civic duty.
Yes, but you need to get It's like, motherfucker, I have to do that. So I have to make sure everyone in the demographics gets it, and then I go like, oh, I shall get my. That's not less. I'm not bribing motherfuckers. There was an article about that today too.
No.
They were only bribed. The bribes are only $10,000, which is like, come on, guys.
Oh,
guys,
Neal.
$10,000 ain't gonna get you
got
back. That ain't gonna.
You got this.
$10,000 ain't. Well, that's what I'm saying.
You should bribe someone in line.
I thought about having a line holder. That's a bridge too far for me.
I will be the line holder.
But I don't want to walk up and be like, "Hey, babe, how's it going?"
This is my boyfriend, everyone.
Yeah, and then someone, and then you get shot. Someone's gonna get shot.
Oh yeah, because someone's like, "Yo, I live with my grandma and my baby." Like,
yeah.
No, I don't know.
What
What
do
if
you
you
mean?
tipped everyone in the line behind you?
I don't think the people that were bribed, doctors were being bribed. Was the story, but it was in Beverly Hills, and
So,
it was 10
yeah,
grand,
it's
which
like-
is like, guys,
Guys,
opening's got to be 100.
dude.
If you know anything about
Yeah.
vaccine bribes, I'm a vaccine fixer. Send in Tig Notaro. Just send her in. There's no. You open with 100 grand. Yeah, that's minimum. Make it worth their fucking while.
Right.
10 grand.
Wah,
Don't waste my
wah.
time. I don't get out of bed for less than a hunch. And then Newsom now is opening. They say he's opening, but he's basically just leaving it up to the counties.
He just went back to tier.
Yeah,
we
a
went back to
tiered
tier.
system,
So
but it's not gonna.
everyone's
so I
in
guess
purple.
Outdoor dining.
Outdoor dining. That's it.
And salons.
The funniest and like anything you could do outdoor, right?
I guess I don't
The
even
best
know.
is when he goes through it and it's like card rooms after. I'm like card rooms.
When they get
Like
very
casinos.
specific. Yeah, card room. Okay. What do you? Why them? There are weird. There's like massage places. There's haircut places. That, by the way, I gotta think that haircut places are gonna be significantly worse off after this. Barbershops, is there now?
Because everyone's done their own shit.
everyone realizes like, if we can figure this out.
I don't know. Girls' hair is not good to do yourself.
I didn't mean girls. Girls are
Oh, you didn't?
impossible.
No.
Everybody knows girls are impossible. Beauty stuff. I don't think that. I think beauty's only gonna grow
Right. I think
with women forever.
people are pissed. Like especially
Infinite growth.
my friends who have gray hair that get it colored
Yeah.
on a timely basis are struggling. Struggling.
They're like going to the pond, putting mud in their fucking hair. What are they doing?
Just at
Oh,
home,
they have
but
to
it's
do
like I don't. It's
Yeah.
like feels a little like I got to do this again.
Yeah.
This is not what I'm signed
Yeah.
up for. So.
This is not the lifestyle I'm accustomed to.
But you just do a tick,
Yeah.
snippity snip.
And then I abused my power on the commercial and had the hair lady cut it. I'm there.
Wow.
I mean, first of all, I didn't need to. There was nothing to do. I was like, hey, lunch, cut my hair. And then, anyhow,
Was it while she was eating?
Anyhow,
and
I
you
gave her
got her
COVID.
up from.
Get well soon, honey. You were great. But it begs the question, which is, Newsom cannot win because he was getting hammered by people on the right, and then he opens and then hammered by people on
Well,
the
now
left.
everybody. So they closed because we were at a certain capacity,
Mm-hmm.
and we were worse, and we're opening.
We're worse now?
From what I
ICUs?
read, ICUs. I think he just was like, I don't know.
Okay.
What do you
I
want
think
from
he
me?
was
What
like,
can you do?
the only thing in his defense is that the Christmas surge wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be.
So I read a article, and there's a model, and I think it's only for California, but, yeah, not a good time to live.
Yeah.
But okay, so the model has been correct so far. It just hasn't been accurate on the amount, but it's predicted roughly how everything's going to go
Yeah.
since the summer. And it said, I read this a few weeks ago, and it said that the surge is going to be bad until the last week of January and the first week of February. And then it's going to come down after that. And then it said if 70% of us, like in these big cities, get the vaccine by the summer, then in the rest of the summer, there's going to be very little COVID in LA, but it can't figure out what it's going to be like in fall. So I don't know.
The amount of vaccines there are,
It's not good.
if you look at the world, we're not bad. Percentage-wise, we're not good, but the amount we're giving out actual more vaccines than anywhere else. We have more, and we're giving out more.
The problem is that there is not the amount in the stockpiles that we thought. So it's really hard to make a plan and get these models based on numbers, based on how many vaccines we have. And then there's I read an article that because during Trump, Pfizer kept saying, change the wording on the contract they have with them. And the wording basically says we won't accept any extra doses. Pfizer has to pay for extra doses they give, but Pfizer's doses are in a pack of 6, and our wording is we'll only take 5. Mm-hmm. And Pfizer just kept saying you have to change it. We can't send you 5 or something like that.
Well,
so now we're getting less doses.
It's the reason there's an extra dose in the Pfizer.
Right.
So it's like a statistical issue, I believe.
Right.
But
I just mean it's really hard to.
The U.S. we're up to 1 million a day, which is good.
They
1 million
said,
a day rolling average, which is while not a miracle, it's more than anywhere else.
Apparently, if the variants get too strong, Moderna's working on a booster.
Yeah,
a booster shot.
Great, thank you, Moderna. Yeah, so I fucking God bless.
I hope the model's right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's right. There's but the good news is that we have enough vax for everybody by the end of the year.
Vax.
Now, the fact that you want it to be we have enough vax for everybody by May and we don't is a nightmare. And also, my mom's 87 in Pennsylvania. She hasn't gotten approved yet, which is guys, what's it gonna take?
For this.
What do you need, or what does she need to do?
Right.
And you know what she needs to do? She needs to be fucking fat or in jail, which is a whole other issue. That people with diabetes are getting it before healthy people. There are people with comorbidities getting it before healthy people, which is known in the business as a perverse incentive. Just learned it. Gonna drop it a lot. It's a nightmare, and I wouldn't want to be in charge of this.
That's all I think about. I'm like, you know what? It sounds extremely complicated. There's so many moving parts to getting us.
Well, the funny thing is the reason Trump didn't enact the defense production bill is because that was basically socialism.
Yeah.
Basically. Which next time someone brings up what's wrong with socialism, remind them socialism won World War II. Anyhow, you were saying, tell me more bad about it. About this awful, but that's okay. So sometimes we can use it, but it's up to you. Okay, cool. So this isn't bad enough. 400,000 people a year. No, didn't cross the rubric. So now they're gonna enact the Defense Production Act. Also, I got a lot to say about this, but
tell me, come on, Neal.
The news. If you first of all, watching the news now, it is so boring. Without the ratings machine, DJT.
Come on, I like it boring.
It's so boring. No, it's better for the country.
I'm happy.
But it is a worse TV show. I likened it to when they fired Charlie Sheen from 2.5 Men.
It's so bad.
Was it the right thing to do? Yeah. Was it a worse show because of it?
Wait, who took over?
Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, yeah.
It sure was a worse show with Ashton Kutcher. And I like Ashton Kutcher. I like John Cryer. I thought the lady did a good job. I thought the kid did a good job. The half man did a good job. But man, there's something about that Charlie Sheen. Something about that fucking just hits it. Charlie Sheen could hit it just right.
Wait, where? Because I used to watch Spin City. I love Spin City.
Yeah, he took over for Michael Fox, yeah.
And it was so good. It was a different, and usually I don't like a takeover.
Charlie Sheen is a very good comedy actor.
Yeah.
He's like I don't think he's funny. He's not a funny person. He can't generate his own material. But I never saw Hot Shots, but I remember people liking them.
Hot Shots Part 2?
Yeah, he's
Never?
very good in Major League. Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's a good comedy actor. He's a great sitcom actor because with Charlie Sheen it felt like, what the hell is this guy doing TV for? We're really getting something here.
Right.
So, with all due respect to John Cryer, Ashton Kutcher, the lady, the half man,
Wow.
the set, it was a worse TV show without a maniac in the center of it. And that's who Donald Trump was for the news. He was a maniac at the center of it. And he understood it. And he played to it. And I mean, they're like the same guy.
They're really similar.
I feel like if you looked up, if you Googled Charlie Sheen and Donald Trump, I'm sure there's 10 pictures of them together.
Will?
If only, yeah, but this guarantees nothing. He's going to hit like maps. Are they ever? Not a lot of split screens.
A lot of splitsies.
No, they were never together.
Yeah, no.
Interesting. You would have thought they were together.
Yeah, no.
So, John Cryer, between you and me, looks like me bald.
A little Middle Eastern you, bald.
Yep. So, anyhow, I rest in power, King, DJT. You made the news way worse. The news is about like the Senate and like committees and secretary assignments and just like ugh.
Donald Trump made the news like
he made the news
movie.
sports.
It was a movie. Yeah,
yes.
Really.
He made the news a cartoon.
And his news was in every other type of news, whether it was my like reality show blurbs, sports, any kind of.
He overpowered the news. He got and ran into every other segment. I've always said an amazing entertainer.
I love The Apprentice.
An amazing entertainer.
I love The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, remember, beat it was number one. He beat every actor, every writer, fucking everybody as himself. So I've never said he's not a great entertainer. An amoral, disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, terrible.
But made the news. The entertainment section.
Apparently, that when he was building Mar-a-Lago, the neighbors complained because when you pay that much for your property, you have a lot of saying power, and he signed a thing saying this will never be his permanent residency. And
now they're trying to call his
like,
bluff.
Get out! What are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's like I forgot something.
It is weird to like live at your country.
Is it a country club or is it a hotel?
It's a country club. It's not like a hotel. It's a country
not
club, but it has a It's a country club like tennis, golf, and then I guess it has a residence, which is creepy.
It's in West Palm. Have you ever been to West Palm Beach? What's the vibe?
Well, I shot the Gatorade there. It's just very Republican.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's just very.
It's Republican. Like Jeffrey Epstein had a house there. There's like a small island where like the West Palm Beach, like there's like a strip. It's probably a mile or two, and it's I think like 8 blocks wide.
Oh, so it's small.
The rich part. Like the like when they
West
talk about
Palm
it.
Beach
yeah.
is
If someone says I'm from Palm Beach,
no.
that's not nope. Sorry. That's not the real thing. That's
really
that's
funny.
like that's marked by Marc Jacobs, if you know what I mean.
That's funny.
It's like the office,
Yeah, it's like
the one they sell at Target. So that's Palm, but it's just it's just white like dorks, just white dorks. Just bad bodies and like guys with huge upper bodies and tiny legs. I caddied. I know these people well. I know them
really
back and
Did you caddy?
Yeah.
In Philly?
In Philly and Chicago. 6 years.
What?
Lugging bags for fucking
I
white
cannot
dudes.
see you like being happy.
Being
in
subservient.
Yeah, I can't.
It never really. The
Didn't
funny
feel that
thing
bad?
was they didn't. It was great because we would play cards between
The caddies.
loops.
Oh.
The caddies before we started, but like we'd be in the thing and playing cards. It was like a bunch of old dudes at like when the factory closed. There was just a
It's so like newsies.
disparate. Yeah, it was a very disparate types of people. There was a guy named Richard who was homeless, who slept in the trees. I mean, just crazy shit. Crazy. And then there was like six of us that were in high school.
Oh, that's cute.
But I would smoke, and it was great.
That was cool.
Play cards and smoke.
You were always an old man.
Always from the very beginning.
Seriously.
Now, so what? A football? We had a big football game, and Trey Songz got a cop in a headlock.
It's really funny.
For Trey seconds, he had him in. He had him in a headlock. And now, what's funny is they're like, the fans are telling the cops to. It's like the fans are going to side with fucking a celebrity. It's fucking meaningless. Teenage girls are on Trey Songz. You're kidding. But you see why the cop came, and I'm like, now I'm on the cop side. I think.
What happened?
Wouldn't put a mask on.
Really?
Trey Songz wouldn't put a mask on.
That isn't why.
Apparently it is why.
I can't read
that's
that,
as the story on TMZ. They said it's the cops. He wouldn't put a mask on. Security asked. He wouldn't put a mask on.
What a dick.
The cops came. Yeah. Now I'm like, this is the whiplash of this era where you're like, fuck the cops. No, fuck Trey Songz.
Yeah. But that's not. I mean, everyone is more for putting on a mask than any of it. That story isn't going.
Zip code to zip code, honey.
But okay. Honey. But I mean, the people who are saying "fuck the cops,"
yeah,
are also part of the talking points. Is take COVID seriously.
Yeah, but I also think black men are.
I don't think he
targeted, etc.
But I feel like the mask story is just. Shit comes
no,
out later, and it's like,
yes, of course.
God damn it, I was on your side.
Of course, but maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's been a while since Trey Songz dropped.
I don't even know what songs he has.
He has. Oh God, let me. Show me the list and I'll sing you them. What? I can't even read them.
Nana.
You know.
Nana. Slow motion.
Slow
Neighbors
motion.
Know My Name. Bottoms Up. Nobody else but you.
Bottoms Up.
Can't Help But Wait. I just made these titles up.
No, Bottoms Up is.
No, they all
a
sound like
song.
fake. R&B songs.
No, Bottoms Up.
I don't like R&B.
Okay, well.
You know why? Don't want to hear about guys fucking. Don't care. None of my business. Stop talking about it.
When you watch porno, what do? There's a guy naked there, and you're so against naked guys.
Well, I have a different observation.
Oh.
I mean, a lot of guys just watch menage or women or whatever.
Oh, so there's more.
Guys are in porn are like the activating ingredient. Otherwise, it's just like
yeast.
Yeah, basically. Like otherwise, it's just a lady. It's like then I don't know. It helps.
Okay. So
I'd rather see her suck a human penis than a dildo, for instance.
Okay.
Now, you want to talk about gayness. This is where gayness creeps in, though. If you're ever talking to a straight guy, ask him, does he like watching cum shots? And there's montages of cum shots. And when he says, yeah, I go like, you ever think about why you like watching cum shots? I should go. And then you leave because he's going to want to fight you when he realizes that waiting for cum shots is a wildly homoerotic thing to do, if not
like
downright gay. Well, yes, speaking of the active ingredient, I just like it from a storytelling. You know how I am with
narrative.
Storytelling. I need to know.
So is that what Parasite was missing?
Yes,
cum shots?
is a well, yes, Parasite, except the wrong person came. Is the if you're saying that the people, yes,
okay.
Again, nonsense. And the great thing about Parasite, no one's brought it up ever in popular culture since the day it won the Oscar because it's not that potent a movie. Very well made, good filmmaking, et cetera, but of course, suck my dildo.
Okay.
So Trey Songz, rest in power, King.
Okay.
And also Dave Chappelle, rest in power, King, for getting COVID. We had.
Don't say rest in power.
I'm kidding.
He's resting.
Rest
resting.
in power, King. I thought we were gonna co-casket because we both got positive on the same day.
Well, hopefully his is a false one too.
I don't think his is false. He fucking does a lot of shit out. He does a lot of interacting. Like, he's not a guy that, I guess he gets a lot of people tested, but that was a numbers game.
When I went to his show in New York, there was a nurse there. It's like, Kate, time to test. So.
What do you mean, everybody or just him?
Any single person that went to a show.
Yeah.
Had to be tested by the nurse.
Yeah. But he's just he's dealing with thousands of people.
Numbers game,
It's just a number. It was just going to get him eventually. Not like me.
Neal goes out the house once.
I'm a good boy. Shout out to Alexei Navalny. Truly not giving a fuck. If we know who Alexei Navalny is, in Russia, he was a Putin critic who they tried to poison. Which I was going to tweet. It wasn't worth it. But if you think Trump doesn't want to poison people, you're out of your mind. And then he made a YouTube. Navalny made a video. The problem is it's too fucking long.
It's like 2 hours.
Yeah, which is even in
Mind
Russia.
you, it has 89 million views.
I think it's probably up to higher than that because it had 82 yesterday morning.
No, I checked today.
Great. Show me. That's not the one. You're not going to believe this guy's a Will popped on the wrong video. It's not. It's a YouTube. Well,
this is YouTube.
Yeah, but it's not the protest.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We fell for it. It's in Russia. It's not. You can't.
Neal.
It's in Russian. You're never gonna. But that guy. Maybe a week to live. Navalny.
Yeah,
He
well,
got brought to Russia.
Well, okay,
he went to
explain it.
Russia and then was locked up at the airport.
Yeah, so
Great thing on the airplane, he was watching Rick and Morty. Someone took a picture of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
love him
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah.
So apparently, those people who poisoned him were following him for 3 years. We're tracking this guy for 3 years, following him like the insurance goons that see if your back is really hurt.
Yeah.
Following him for 3 years. And then the Kremlin responded saying, yeah, well, we're just following him.
But there's no laws against following people.
So
But it's funny the level of Putin's really corrupt. Russia's real. You want to talk about like the Saint Lunatics? He is surrounded by the Saint Lunatics. He's Nelly. And
who's Murphy Lee?
Anyone he's ever been cool with is a billionaire now.
Yeah.
Like fucking you're either a billionaire or you're dead. It's flip a coin. But it's really the level of corruption is. I watched half an hour of that video and it was crazy.
Did you make it to the house? Did you make it to the house?
No, he's building a palace.
No. So basically, one of the reasons why they're protesting is because of the fact that Navalny got, detained immediately, but because apparently Putin has received the biggest bribe in history, which is like $1.8 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And then he used that money to build a palace on the Black Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so insane. This house is so insane. And so now everybody's very mad. And so apparently the remarkable thing about the protests is that there was only 40,000 people, which isn't the biggest protest in Russia, but it was in like 50
It was
cities.
50 degrees below zero.
And 50 countries.
Cities. And but there was one where it was 50 below, and people still showed up.
But I just mean it was so widespread.
White people, because it's Russia. Black people would not have shown up. They aren't there, and they wouldn't have shown up.
Okay, so it was just wider spread than any other protest in 50 cities. So I think at 50 below.
So now he's gonna have to feel non-guilt for 10 seconds instead of the 5 that he normally. I mean, he doesn't give a fuck.
No, and there's I don't know how they're gonna. He's so corrupt. Like, corruption means it's just soaked into everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so soaked in. How do you challenge a system that's fucked? It's like, okay, everyone's protesting.
Okay,
but
so
you got to take down
let's
everyone.
start over.
1, 2, 3, go.
Yeah, it's correct. That's what during when the Trump and the Capitol and the voting irregularities and all that shit. I don't think, because Americans are, ahistorical and don't know anything about any place but America, or what they're told about America is, when other governments are corrupt, they don't say we're corrupt. They say shit like there were voting irregularities.
Yeah.
They do it under the guise of the law, but they just lie about the law. They just lie, and they go like, no, this is good for you. This is the Constitution, and it's not. And Putin's a prime example of where there was a part where he was super against like Yeltsin in the 90s. Meanwhile, that's when he got on. It's just like, it's all kind of the same thing. You have Iran threat, and I don't know what that means.
So the supreme leader, they tweeted it out.
This is America's #1 Iranian news podcast.
I think it is.
It's pronounced Iran.
Great.
Cool. So they tweeted out that Twitter took it down because they're like, oh, that's fake. That wasn't from like Iranian officials. But basically, it's a photo of Trump on a golf course with, pull it up, Trump, Iran threat, Trump golf course. Anyways, it basically says it's from the Iranian government. And
you can read that?
no, I can't read that. I can read it really slowly and not. You can't see all of it right here, but basically there's a
shadow.
There's a shadow of like a stealth bomber.
Yeah.
Over him. It's not the whole image.
Yeah.
Anyways, and it's basically saying just because you're out of the office doesn't mean you can't get got. Like. Yeah. And it was basically saying like, I don't know why you're not pulling it up as good, but basically it says something really ominous.
It's right
like
there. You can see it.
No, but it says like from the actual tweet, it says something like revenge is.
Yeah.
It's the most like.
It actually says revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy. which I think it's
this is some Tupac shit.
About
let's be
time.
Real. And it's like, it may be boring on our news, but in Trump world, it's still a fucking movie. Revenge is inevitable.
Yeah, well, that's the old Americans have the watches, we have the time shit.
Right.
It's just like, pooh.
It's
over that dude whose name I don't even remember.
Soleimani.
Soleimani, yeah. But
and they're like, this is like, we're gonna all of this says is we're gonna avenge everybody who had to do with Soleimani's death.
That's a tough one. I don't, and I'm American, and I don't know who to root for.
So then now the GP's like, oh, Biden should be on this. He's threatening a former president. This is not okay.
It was from Khomeini's actual Twitter account?
It was, but they took it down saying it was fake, like somebody hacked it. Then now it's on his website, like the Ministry of.
That's funny. It's on his personal website.
So it's like
for his
no.
His YouTube clips. Yeah, it's fun merch. It's fun. It's fun time. Spend 5 minutes on there.
It's like how Khomeini.
If you can spell it, God bless you.
Yeah. So.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Don't write checks you can't cash.
Yeah, I mean, that's where when you hear that presidents get 1 or 2 Secret Service agents, and you're like, you guys sure that's enough? 2? 2. I mean, and it's not.
And they're usually the ones that are retired or gonna retire. Like it's an easy gig.
Are you sure? Or are you basing that on
no, because I heard
My
it was
Fellow Americans with Jack Lemmon?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
What is?
Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau made a buddy picture.
No, I
called
didn't
My Fellow
see
Americans
that.
about 2 retired presidents on a road trip. I believe let's go to a clip. I never saw it.
I heard that it's such an easy gig, like Carter. Yeah, it's just
hang out and watch a guy hammer nails into wood.
A peanut farm or whatever he has. That's really funny. Old movie, Neal.
Old movie. Did I go to the premiere? It was in my wheelhouse.
Norbit?
What year?
Norbit 2.
No, I mean, you want to talk about Norbit? I was up for directing Norbit. That's how fucking old I am. I had meetings on Norbit.
Are you serious?
Dead serious.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. The inauguration. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch a goddamn frame of it.
It. You know what was really funny it was a laughable amount of celebrities. It was just so many celebrities.
I don't
confused
remember.
me.
I always just think of the swearing in. I don't remember any.
Because
the
they
pageantry.
don't. Because it's all inside.
Right.
This is the only time it's been like on display
Yeah.
because a lot of it was pre-recorded so everybody can watch. Usually it's like a ball or like a gala or some shit that you're not really
Some winner
watching.
circle shit. Not for
it's
you
Gotham
losers.
City.
Get out of here.
Gotham City.
Yeah.
Like
I saw that John Legend sang, and Chrissy blew it. Apparently, she tweeted about it the night before.
What happened?
Like,
I
oh my!
couldn't-
She like just played. She just recorded John doing sound check, and but no one knew he was
it's
supposed to do it.
okay.
So it was like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Chrissy, who's sober now apparently, and I'm very happy about it.
Yay. That's good.
Because I don't like alcohol except when it comes to commercials.
But yeah, I just thought the funniest thing is how Bernie went so viral from it. People talked about him more than they not. I'm happy to not care about the news anymore. I don't want to hear it. Much.
You know what this feels like? This feels like when I felt obliged somehow when Blake played for the Clippers to watch the games somehow. Just like,
Right,
I don't know.
like-
If they're on, I'll watch it. It was like a good procrastination. And then once he moved to Detroit, I had like an extra 5 hours a week. And that's how I feel now, where I'm like, I don't have to watch the news at all. Like nothing.
I haven't turned it
now
on.
it's just back to fucking granular nerd shit, but even if you go, well, before Trump, it was normal. Before Trump, a black guy was president. It was crazy. It's been crazy for 12 years.
Yeah.
A black president. Can you imagine? Making regular laws. Yeah. And before that, it was Bush. So then it was more.
The 9/11. We were in wars.
Yeah.
Watching the news during Bush was extremely complicated for me. Mm-hmm. There were so many.
Yeah.
Well, I was younger, but like in school, we had to watch it and be like, okay, report. What do you guys bring in an article? But there was so much going on that was very confusing. Weapons of mass destruction. They haven't found any. Saddam. It was overwhelming.
Yeah, 9/11, Afghanistan, there's a year right there.
Yeah.
Then Iraq started, that's 01, 02, and then Iraq started in 03.
Right. And then they were all Islamabad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really...
Yeah. So news is, Obama was no Charlie Sheen. I'll say that. He was Charlie Sheen on Spin City. What else? Fucking, you want to talk about Rest in Power King? Literally
A king.
gone.
El Rey.
Gone too soon.
No one cares about me.
Will came prepared with
Wow.
some new drops.
Will.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
He's stupid.
Um,
We'll be using that more, I'm sure.
is that actual Biden or that's
Yeah, it's
Corn
Somebody-
Pop was a bad dude.
he was a bad dude.
dude.
I didn't watch his speech. How was it?
He was
Biden's.
actually fine.
Yeah.
Not a lot of...
He doesn't. Here's the thing about Biden. If he's out, old people don't do good in cold weather.
He was good.
Okay,
He
but
was,
they
like,
just get.
yelling and-
No one's good in cold weather. It's like
He's better when he's yelling.
Reduced.
When he's like... Da, 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 da.
he's better in humidity, sunglasses. That's what I would say. If you're gonna put him outside, put him in the Rose Garden starting in April. Get him outside
Neal.
because then he's vital. But when people are cold, it's just you're like 60% of yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you're a snow person, who I like, but I like snow people more than water people. But I'm not crazy about either.
Really? Snow people?
Snow people are a lot of times they are water people. Like, yeah, they like I surf and then I board. Like I live in the beach, I live
But
in
they're really
and then
into
I
the
go to
snow
fucking
people.
Heavenly.
Would you rather be in the snow or in the beach?
I'd rather be.
In the
Well,
beach.
this is a tough one.
In the beach, by the beach.
I'd rather be
Don't lie.
snowboarding than at the beach.
Liar.
It's not. It's true. I like snowboarding.
You snowboard?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it.
Really?
Anyhow, thanks for joining us.
Okay.
Yeah, I just something. I
You don't like outdoor stuff.
I don't. But what I do
going on
is
with
I'll
you?
put
What's going on
hot,
with you?
the hot pocket, the fucking
Yeah, the
heater
heater,
things.
yeah.
2 in each
Salon
shoe.
pause.
2 in each shoes. I mean, I just load up with heaters, and it's not good for the environment, but it's good for my snowboarding
Nardo.
environment.
It's great for Nardo.
Down Hillio. So Larry King gone too soon, and I made fun of him a couple weeks ago. Now I won't because he's dead, and he was a. We don't need to appraise him.
No, he's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it for himself.
Yeah.
Larry King.
He did Larry King. Bygone era. Like, did you ever watch? You're too young, but toward the end of the Tonight Show, there
With
would with
Leno or
Johnny.
with- oh,
No,
Johnny.
with Johnny.
No.
There would be. You could watch Arsenio, which I
Yeah,
was
that's
naturally
always
predisposed to do.
Right.
But then Carson was in his last year, and he'd have like Jimmy Stewart on, and it was like, I'm not gonna be able to see this. No, he wasn't like.
Was it bad?
No, it was cool because it was from the 50s. Basically, it was just guys that from a bygone era. Larry King's like that, where it's like the way the country was simpler and the media was simpler, and you could just be at 8 o'clock on CNN and go like, where are you from?
Right.
Just be an inane interviewer. Now you can't do that. And it's more oppositional, et cetera, et cetera. But it was, he's from a bygone era. And Tom Brokaw retired also this week. So we don't have it on the sheet.
He was already
because he didn't
retired.
die,
Thought he was already
but,
retired.
no, I know. It's like he was an ombudsman. It's like, dog, no one knew. No one was like, where is Brokaw in? No one knew. You have Armie Hammer Part 2.
Yo, it's weird. It's
What
getting
happened
weird.
to him? What did he do?
Apparently, an ex came out saying that Armie Hammer was like urging her to get surgery to remove 2 of her ribs so he could barbecue them and eat them.
Damn.
Like,
Stars are just like us.
and she's like, he was absolutely not joking about that because he came out and addressed it. It was like, no, we were just
Come on, guys. It's rib play.
barbecue and eat her ribs. Rib play.
And I'm sure she dated him for another 8 years.
I
by
know, that's
way.
the problem.
I mean,
It's
that's
like,
again, it's
yeah.
like, yeah, and you stayed with him, you fucking shallow dickhead. All of them. You asked me for a kidney or I'm going to eat your heart. It's like, you fuck off, dude.
That's weird.
Yeah. And all the women that were into him, too, I'm assuming were hot and could have just fucked another hot guy.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
not
I think he
maybe
was
not
a little
maybe not a
special.
celebrity.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, it's so. What's up with this guy? I mean, have you ever had any that kind of
No.
fantasy shit where someone's like,
no, I've never. No one's ever asked me to do anything that I wasn't willing to do. Because they never. Not like I'm not willing to do stuff. I just.
what if you knew it was really creepy, but it was complete just dirty talk, but it made you uncomfortable.
If I know it's dirty talk, if they've signed something that lets me know it's dirty talk, they signed my dirty talk waiver. Then I don't care. Then say whatever you want. Then it's like say fucking whatever you want.
But if she starts dropping hints like, I'd love you to just
Burn-
eat my ribs and
be like, what?
your face is so funny.
Even I'll say a girl wanted me to. She kind of wanted me to fuck other people in front of her, that kind of thing, and I was kind of like, this is not coming from a great place.
No.
Just FYI, like you wouldn't want this
Normally.
if.
Some trauma.
Well, have a look. I'll do it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna only be 80% erect to my normal 83%. Hi.
What is it, QAnon?
QAnon. Well, that's just the joke I made, which is
Yeah.
QAnon is basically astrology, but they get shit done. Oh, this is a bigger question than this is about Steve Harvey's kid.
She's
Steve
so
Harvey's
pretty.
daughter.
I love her so much.
She's pretty. Do we know anything about her?
No, she's a rich kid. She didn't do
Okay.
anything.
Here's the quandary.
Okay.
If you're, and we should ask Chris about this, although he's not going to give us he can't speak honestly about it. Lori Harvey's with Michael B. Jordan, and
It's fantastic.
and people love it. She's taken all the greats down.
She really has.
She's burnt through. Yeah.
As a Future.
She's just fucked like every
Diddy,
Diddy. Interesting.
which is
All the top black
it's-
men.
it's
Trey
weird.
Songz, of course.
You know what's weird about Diddy
Go.
is that she dated his son,
Yeah.
who's also very good
Diddy?
looking, and then Diddy, and then takes Diddy on vacation with Steve Harvey and the wife, which
And
is so
then
weird. But
She
I
fucked
choose
a
to.
landscaper at Diddy's mansion.
Stupid. No, she
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things where it's like,
But that's I don't know. Whatever.
is
Guys
it
do it all the
worth-
time. It's not even that
Of
big.
course they do. But we are not moms. We're not potential moms, so it's different. Is it worth? Sometimes I wonder if Steve Harvey ever thinks like, man, I would have been better off raising this girl in Dallas. Man, I would have been better off if 15. If I just raised it again, not like he can do it. I'm just saying.
No, I don't.
If
get
you're
the point
Steve
though.
Harvey, you're born like middle class. I don't know how he was born, but he was just like a real regular guy. Like even the first part of his comedy career, he was he
Mr.
was like
Hightower.
right. But before that, he lived in Dallas. He owned a comedy club. Like
He owned a comedy club?
Yeah, Erykah Badu was a waitress apparently. There. Yeah.
Erykah Badu has also been a comedy club waitress.
Yes. At Steve
amazing.
Harvey's
Laugh Shack.
yes, or I don't remember what it was called. And I remember I would hear stories of like, man, Steve Harvey fucking MCs, and
Good.
it is hard to follow.
Really?
If
As
you're
an
the headliner,
MC?
but he's black MC, so they do a half an hour between everybody.
Oh yeah.
So it's not
They
normal.
do. It's their show.
So, but you wonder if you'd be better off Steve Harvey's Comedy House. If you'd be
Laugh
better
Shack
off
Comedy House.
just be, I don't know, just like a normal life instead of, but maybe it's impossible if you're raising daughters now who are good looking for them not to be Instagram. Would she be better off dating hot shit motherfuckers in Dallas or the hot shit motherfuckers in LA?
I think they live in Atlanta.
Or what? Okay, fine.
I just mean, like, what do you mean? What's the city?
I guess it's just she's young, right?
Yeah, she's
and
young,
she's
and
just
she's
in
hot,
popular
and she's
culture immediately.
in demand, in vogue.
And you just wonder like, it's a parent. It's a thing I can't speak to because I don't know what it's like to have kids. But
You mean just shield them from popularity?
yeah, somehow. Like I don't think Chris's daughters are going to end up like her, but I also don't know. They're
I
younger
think
than
it's
her.
just access to, like, let's say this wasn't social media. Let's say this is 1985. I don't think anybody would know Lori Harvey.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, but
would
I don't-
she have been better off?
Right. But well, I think it's inevitable, regardless of if you're famous or not, to, like, kids now, they want to look really sexy on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
No, kids always want to look really sexy. Now you can be on the internet and gain likes and gain attention,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So if you're already famous, you have an already famous, like, step up. Steve Harvey.
She strikes me as like pretty good looking.
She's really
She's
attractive.
like-
That's not a great photo of her.
Okay.
Go to images. She's hot. She's
Yeah.
just like generally very
Yeah,
hot.
she's just like pretty good. I don't know. She's like, I don't think she's hotter than most girls in her category. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but let's just be honest though. Just because you are famous and have a kid doesn't mean they're always hot. So I think the odds.
Of course. I mean, look,
She's better.
There's many examples that I'm not going to mention.
No, and there's some where I feel like they say they're
They
hotter
take
than
after her daddy a lot of the time.
some say they're hotter than they are because they're famous. There's a one I'm thinking of right now, and I've seen them like they're
Yeah,
not.
no, it's 60-40 that they're hot.
Yeah.
But sometimes they just take after their daddy. My question is,
Come on now.
I don't think Steve's put her in harm's way. I don't any of that shit.
Yeah.
I guess I just wonder. I wouldn't wish this for Chris's daughter or Dave's or like guys I'm friends with's daughter.
But I think she wants it. I don't think you get like her status without wanting it.
Okay.
So you think even if she wants it, you don't think it's good for her?
No, I don't think it's good for her. But I also don't. It seems like she's just a pre-basketball wife. Do you know what I mean? Or like pre-love and hip hop.
So you mean because she's just famous because associated
for
with
social and dating people? It just seems like that's fool's gold.
You know what it seems like to me? Remember when you were doing a commercial somewhere? I don't know, maybe Nike in Spain, and you said you're trying not to be like, big time everybody and be cool and low maintenance. But I think you told me like it took me a day and a half not to want everything Serena Williams got, like the same treatment.
That's funny.
So it reminds me of that. It's like everyone else my age, even without celebrity attached to them, is doing this shit.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I got a famous dad. Like all the other famous kids are doing it.
Yeah.
Am I going to be the honorable one and not do it?
Yeah, I guess the Simmons kids did it. Joey Simmons.
All of them. All the kids do it.
Yeah.
Even like when Willow Smith came out with I Whip My Hair, then all these other famous kids were like, I want to sing.
But you know the story about that. She did it and then
Was like,
I don't like this.
yeah.
And Will was pushing her like, no, you do like this. And then she literally cut her hair. And Will was like, oh, wait.
Okay. Can't sing that song.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, though, Steve Harvey has a book called Think Like a Man.
Yeah.
That's for women.
I
feel
wonder,
like she kind of is a
what
perfect.
Steve thinks of it. I guess that's my only question. And she's an adult, et cetera. Like all the shit. But I wonder. I think I'm more than anything talking about what like the nightmare of being a parent is in the age of social media.
Yeah.
And then they get access to fame. You can cut it off, by the way.
I feel like you have to do this a little. I'm not really going to look at what my daughter's doing.
Right.
Would you, if you had a daughter, let's just say accidentally, and she brought home a boyfriend, would that creep you out?
Well, I mean, that's just one of them things you just got to, that's one of them things that a girl goes through.
What thing? Are you singing Monica?
Don't let him take it out on you.
Stupid.
Like that's unavoidable. Like, yeah, you're gonna come to a sexual age and then you just have to, it's like an impossible crucible. And the only good news is they're as uncomfortable with it as you are. Like everyone's uncomfortable.
Right.
I guess it's the age of social media, and if she has a hunger for it, but Steve didn't put, like, even the Simmons kids were on the reality show. So I don't even know what I'm asking other than like, is this good?
Right.
Because like I said, I wouldn't wish this. If Chris's daughters like burn through, I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't know how to talk to him about it. I wouldn't if Dave's daughter is super young now, but like if she became a thing, I don't think Dave would be like geeked off the shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
But I also don't know what he could do. I don't know what you can do.
Yeah.
What can you do?
You kind of do become a sex
media?
symbol. You kind of become
sexualized
and
but at the same time she's 24. So I guess you just send her to voicemail.
Stupid.
What else can you do? We kind of covered this, but about the cops, it's the whiplash of like there was an article in LA Times about or no, it wasn't in LA Times because I was able to read it about how bad Santa Monica PD fucked up when they were like looting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was reading the article, so there's about total on staff 220, give or take, cops available. Santa Monica PD.
Oh, in Santa Monica, okay.
And at night, they have about 8 cops on duty. Just most nights, there's only 8 cops patrolling Santa Monica. I was kind of like, guys, are we going to have to do a heist? It just seems like that doesn't, I don't know how many you should have. It seems like
that's probably
20 should. Again, of course.
People don't commit crimes as much as you think.
Of course. But it seems like 8. How many, if I was having a party, I might have 2. You know what I mean? I would get some, if I had I don't fucking know. Like, 8 doesn't seem like enough for, I don't even know how big Santa Monica is. So again, I don't know what I'm
Neal,
talking
it's
about.
right there. You don't know how big.
I know I can see it, but I've never asked it any questions about how big it is. So
when I did
91,000 people. I don't know, 8. It's 8 square miles and it's 91,000 people. So 8 people
for 8 miles though, that makes 8. It's like okay.
A cop a mile. Like I'll handle this mile.
Yeah,
is a little. My heart would race. They're like, you got this mile. But what do you fucking mile?
The world
have
is
another guy.
You think the world is like 1970s New York?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. There's no rubble.
Well, I told you I was listening to Glenn Beck, and his first ad was for tasers, which fucking made me laugh so hard. Like tasers. Tasers.
You have a taser.
Of course, but I bought it as a goof. Because I saw the tasers, and I was like, I was on a conference call. I'm like, I'm getting a taser, if you guys will excuse me.
So funny.
Because I just never seen a taser store.
What else? What are his ads?
That was the only one I heard was tasers.
Yeah.
But then somebody else was listing like Ben Shapiro. His are all like tasers. It's all just like defense. And yeah, they're just fearful. But then the day of the looting, they had 40 cops on duty, and most of them were with the BLM crew, who were at the ocean. They were on Ocean Drive, Beach Street.
Avenue?
Sure. And then they ended up fucking, but then looters were just willy-nilly, and people were calling 911, and they were like, you're on your own. They were literally saying you're on your own. So it's funny, it's more whiplash of how, like, I don't think they would have stopped the looters even with 40 cops, but the looters knew that they would get away with it and BLM would be blamed because they're there. Yeah. And people still think it's BLM people.
It's like there was Patagonia.
The buddy I talked to, I was like, so you know, all the black people love camping. They're known for it. That's why they got REI and Patagonia, and because they're a deep abiding love of the fucking camping. But they still get blamed. So it's another one of these things where I don't know
what to do.
What we're gonna do about cops, because even rooting out the white supremacists is not gonna be easy. Because the whole thing is a little white supremacist. They're not even a little. It's the whole thing is 30% of it is white supremacy. So,
okay, I have a question. Okay. What about this? Do you think it would solve it if now this could be total junk science, but
there weren't enough cops, is my point, at Santa Monica. But even the 40, they were misassigned, and there weren't enough of them.
What if to be a cop at a certain location, you had to live within?
That's what people always say.
Because at least you have a little bit more accountability. You might know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, that's one of the big things. I could be a cop in Venice, still don't leave my house.
Dude,
Like, I
you
just
being a
don't.
cop would
I'm
be
just
so
stay home. Like, I don't know neighbor. I don't know anybody.
Right.
So it doesn't. It might be better. I mean, speak about being in the 70s. Like, what's up, baby?
I'm on the
Yeah,
beach.
hold on. Let me break dance a little bit with y'all young bloods. Like, that's not. The cops aren't going to do that.
No, but I think there is some accountability when it's your neighborhood.
I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't. I think that. I remember having this argument with somebody years ago, and they were like, they should all have a college education
No,
and make
that's not
$100,000 a
work.
year. And I was like, they don't. Cops. No one. You get a college education, and suddenly the desire to become a cop evaporates. You put on the fucking when you toss the thing up. That's I'm never gonna be a cop. That's what that means. Never gonna be a policeman. That's so.
The funny thing is, my friend that I went to college with went to college, and there was a what are they, criminal justice degree.
Right.
She's a cop for LAPD. She was
Cool.
my neighbor. So it does happen. It's just
I'm not saying it again. I'm not saying
But
like
no,
it never.
If
but
you made that a requirement, the thing is, they give so many bonuses out to cops who have a degree. That's the weird thing.
what like if you shoot somebody and you have a degree, you get more money. That
No,
type thing?
simply, you want to be a cop and you have a degree?
It's
Here's
like in the military
8 Gs
officer
of-
candidate school.
Yeah. What?
They have a thing called OCS, which is like if you're smart, you don't go to basic training.
Yeah.
You go to OCS. A little different. And like, no, we got you.
Well, you can language train.
Yeah.
Learn
Or
first
you go to
aid.
West Point or whatever. But the cop story is going to be interesting for the next, I'm going to say 5 years. And then, so Biden signed today that they're going to allow transgender people into the military.
Yes.
Which, if I'm Biden, I got to be thinking, hey, left wing, you better fucking give me credit for this.
For real.
Because
It's a direct.
yeah, like this is a big one, and I'm I mean, it's basically what liberals did, and when we're talking about why are black people loyal to Democrats, and it's like because of the civil rights movement, because they wanted black people to have rights and have paid a significant price for it. Still, 50 years later, or 60 at this point. So there will be that's one of those things where no one can run on like they let chicks with dicks into the military. They can't, but it's quietly one of them like, you see what they did?
Right. But now it's becoming, even on the right, to, it's a veteran. It's
Right.
a veteran.
That's what I'm saying. They're not going to say it out
It's
loud.
a
They're just going
military
to I serve with one of them. It's just it's a thing that, but they'll give them 3 days.
I
want to
know. I want to ask someone who's trans that I don't know why you'd want to go into the military. I feel like it doesn't seem like a really
the most
open mind.
friendly
This
environment.
doesn't seem friendly to me
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. So
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's there's so many things like that where you're like, why would you want to?
yeah, I don't.
Well,
I'm
mean,
sure
but
there's a
at
good
the
reason.
same time,
I'm
why
like,
would black people want to join a all-white country club?
Yeah, it's true.
It was always like, why would you want to? They don't want you there, so why would you want to? But that's how life progresses.
Yeah, no, for sure. I remember I watched a thing on Vietnam and how there was these Asian veterans saying it was really awkward because they would say, derogatory terms like gooks and
Yeah.
anything that was like anti-Vietnamese.
Yeah.
But they just kind of felt really uncomfortable with it because it was so open and they were the enemy. And then they also looked like the enemy, even though they were American.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
a
Why do
tough
people
one.
do these things? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but I wonder, would they say it?
Who would say what?
Would the Asian American military people use
I don't
derogatory
know. It
words.
didn't seem like it, but it seemed so
They would
commonplace
say the
around
gentleman. Let's kill the Viet Cong gentleman.
them. Stupid.
The good boys over there from North Vietnam. I'm so old I spelt Vietnam in 2 words.
Stupid.
It's 2 different words.
You're like Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah. Went to Vietnam and
Did you like it?
I was there for like 12 hours. And I saw a really grotesque street thing.
What did you see?
I saw like a baby with some sort of water on the brain. Not a baby, but like a 4-year-old with like an enlarged head. And my friend, I was like, don't look at that. It was so immediately
I'm not laughing about
fucked
the
up.
baby, but the fact that you said I saw a grotesque street thing.
I did. It was just on the street and it was tough. And I have to live with it for the rest of my life. In the quiet of the night. Doc Watch, Will.
Doc Watch. Doc Watch.
Great. Beautiful. Could have gone longer, but I get what you're saying.
Sorta.
Night Stalker.
So good and scary.
Very good. Very scary. Good interviews. Good footage.
What year was it? In the 80s?
Yeah, it was in the 80s. It was 85.
They kept showing places. I'm like, oh, that's where I park at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I bet he went to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
bet he did.
Now the question is, was Richard Ramirez hotter than Ted Bundy?
That's a weird question. I don't know
Well,
why you're...
Have you met me?
Okay. He's frightening looking. He is not hot.
One of them, he's hot.
Most of them, he's...
Let's play what's Neal attracted to in serial killers. Ready? One of the worst things we ever did to this podcast was adding this monitor
I mean, it's
that
so
neither
small.
of us can see, but Daniel bought it and I wanted to put it to use. And
All
but
right.
meanwhile, there's just another giant, bigger one behind this. Anyhow,
Why are we doing this to
good looking. I literally would think like, would
Fright.
you date that guy?
Fright.
He's mad, but if he was mad at a guy,
it was a little
cute, no, not bad.
He has some enviable cheekbones.
That's the thing. He's all cheekbones. The first mugshot of him was good looking. That's pretty good looking. Like, I know a lot of
I
girls
don't
that look
understand
like, he
Ted
looked
Bundy
like,
hot.
He looked
Ted
like,
Bundy's not attractive at
okay.
all.
I think white girls think he's good looking.
I think he's white girl cute.
Cute.
Yeah,
Again, if
that's
he's in the
good.
Strokes,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
if you're in the Strokes,
Those
if he's in the
glasses,
Strokes.
good.
The sunglasses, I didn't like. The sunglasses felt like after a band's first album is successsul and they get a stylist. That's how it felt like when he went to trial
for
and he
sure.
was wearing sunglasses
Wait,
in the
go-
courty like, don't fucking wear sunglasses in the courtroom.
Wait,
Will,
go
why
back, Will.
do you
Why did
mind
you
not
click on that?
fucking speeding through these? Will just keeps hitting the next thing without going like, and no one indicates that we're done, but he's speeding through it.
Yeah.
Sunglasses I didn't love. It felt, like I said, it felt like the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion album, where I prefer the Appetite for Destruction, where none of them had money and they were all living with 3 different women. Now
What are you
scroll up,
talking
Will.
about?
Great. Yeah, scary.
But
In
I
the
mean,
middle, kind of cute.
Imagine seeing him at night. He would be so
Well, the really
scary.
scary one was the library guy describing him, where he's like, he smelled like a goat.
Ugh, yeah, that was, or when he would take the children, that was just sickening.
Well, the thing with him is, did not discriminate. I'll say this for
He's
Rich
like,
Ramirez:
I got to do it all.
race, not an object.
Gender
Age, anyone can get it
at any time.
anytime. He would not rape men. I guess that was his only.
Yeah, they had to be like,
He'd molest boys,
no, boys, fine.
molest
but
the fuck out of a
he
boy
was
and a
so-
girl.
No, it's obviously a power thing.
Yeah.
This guy's sicko.
Yeah. And they said he liked surprise. Also, the creepy part was hearing his interviews because I believed him,
100%.
where he's like, I don't give a fuck about this shit. I'm on some other shit.
Yeah.
I was like, bleed.
So you know the funny thing, he stayed at the Cecil Hotel, which is renamed as Stay on Main, which is where the Asian girl who ended up in the water tank was. That Asian girl, her name is Eileen something. Cecil DeMille. Cecil Hotel murder.
This is your version of name dropping, where it's a bunch of true crime shit.
Yeah. So basically, this lady, her name is Eileen. She's Asian. So no. Was it Black Dahlia? What's going on?
Again.
Anyway, so this was like in the 2013, 2014. She was staying. It's on 7th and like Los Angeles, and she or Maine, obviously. Anyway, there we go. Elisa Lam. So she is acting weird in this hotel, and they have her on video hiding in the elevator, like hiding from something, right? She disappears. They find her. People start complaining about the taste of the water and the shower and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They go into the water tank. It takes 10 men to even open the water tank. She's in there with all of her belongings. And there's no way for her to have gotten in there on her own. No one knows what happened. That's her. So apparently someone, after Richard Ramirez stayed there, back then it was like a gross hotel for anybody. And they were saying, okay, now you're not going to like this part. It's haunted.
Well, here's the thing about my ayahuasca, about being a spirit padre.
Yeah.
As a spirit padre, I believe in
Don't change it, Will.
hauntings a little bit.
Don't change it for a second. You believe in hauntings a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's hiding
Yeah.
from something.
Well, I don't know if that's I don't.
She seems
I'm
frightened.
not
Who knows
yes,
what? There could be
yes.
mental health, but there's no way for her to get in the water tank that was cemented down and
I
took
heard
10
that
men
the
to
people
open.
in the hotel were complaining that the water tasted like duck sauce.
Wow, Neal.
I used to write for comedy guys before there was a pandemic.
Anyway, so Richard Ramirez stayed there, and then a journalist, wanted to go and stay in the room where he stayed in, and that guy said he started getting urges to kill people. So I don't know. This is all nonsense, but I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I've seen some things, guys.
What have you seen?
As a spirit padre, off the air.
Spirit Padre.
But that's the thing about being a spirit padre is you're open. It's it's a different world. I don't. Again, astrology will never
It will never
enter
Oh
the
my
spirit
God.
padres world, but just I'm open. There's a spy documentary on Netflix that's not bad, where it's just a lot of like gadgets and stuff.
Cool.
It's
What's
kind
it
of
called?
interesting. Spycraft, I think. It's like
It's not a good
fine.
name.
Yeah, it's fine. It's you don't need to. I watched that French one, and I forget the name immediately every time, like
What's it about?
Pelim or some shit.
What's it about?
Um,
Is it Belém? No. that's
something.
Not even
Don't look it up. Whatever you do, Will. French documentary. No, French Netflix heist.
Lupin?
Lupin. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Lupin.
Lupin.
It's
good.
well.
It's like cheesy good,
It's
you know?
it's
not really.
it's like a TNT show.
Yeah.
Better. It's like
Little better.
it's the best
Production
ever
value.
TNT show.
Yeah.
Like they got the Louvre. They shot at the Louvre. So right there.
It was really easy to watch.
It's
like
like
boom, boom,
super
boom, boom.
easy. It's the kind in terms of level of difficulty between scenes they do they do like which right
Swipies.
there they do whooshes.
Here's the thing, though. He would never be with that girl,
The white one?
the white one.
The busted I hate to say she's
Don't
busted.
say.
The funny thing is
descriptive
French
word.
couples, because like it's all the man is always gross and then the woman's
He's always
hot
smoking.
and yeah,
It was distracting. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way.
yeah.
So, okay.
So Lupin,
Have you watched Bridgerton?
that's between scenes. No, haven't. Somebody told me the plot though. And good for everybody. Let's do some emails, Will. Huh?
Huh?
Do you mind?
Babe, honey. Shit, Jesus Christ.
Hey, guys. Insert privileged white male preamble here. Long story short, my marriage is starting to dry up, and after talking with my wife, she is not into sex being a spontaneous thing. This is kind of a foreign concept to me, so I obviously had to start overthinking as to how to approach it. Remember how you two talked about how Neal prefers to schedule sex? I was wondering if you two had any tips for finding a good system. Do you use Google Calendar? Do you send a request for approval? Should you get notarized? And if so, would that be a threesome? Well, that's where that swing and a miss. Not a great.
What?
Use it. Get an actual announcer from an actual baseball game. That's not real.
Messy.
That's cartoony.
Swing and a miss.
Nope.
No.
That's not bad. Let's do it again. Should you get it Nope. Should you get it notarized? And if so, would that be considered a threesome?
Swing and a miss.
You were a quarter beat behind. We're going to try it again. Don't play the second one. Ever.
Ever. You said ever.
Should you... Don't get it off your computer. Should you get it notarized? And if so, would that be considered a threesome?
Swing and a miss.
Beautiful. I teach as well as podcast.
I learned a lot.
How Neal feel? What does the Binks thinks? Scheduling sex? I'm still a fan. How often does your wife want to have it? Is it twice a week? Is it 3 times a week? Is it 4 times a week? And then you just, when are you guys available for sex? And then you're doing it. And that's what being in a equitable relationship is about. And I think it's the future. Especially if it's coming from her. If it's coming from a guy, then if it's coming from a guy, it's a crime against humanity, and women are going to call 911. But if a woman wants to schedule sex, then everything is admissible, and you make it happen. You don't have, and put it in your Google Calendar.
Google.
Google.
Put it in your Google.
Put it in your Google Calendar.
What's going on with you, dude? I think if he's not, it doesn't matter even who's asking. If one wants and the other's open, do it. The fuck? Nobody owes anybody an explanation for how you have your consensual relationship. Consensual.
Agreed. He's asking, once they both consented, what's the best system? I don't think like... Well, I guess you don't.
What?
You would never do it.
What?
You would never do scheduled sex.
I don't love scheduled sex, but I guess I'll say it. I like having sex enough that I don't think I need to schedule it. Bob with the best. Bob with the best. Bob with the best. No, I just say there's no need, but that's fine if let's just say there was a time where it was needed. Someone was really fucking busy. Someone was just so busy.
I think it's like the gym where if you're like and then you go and you're like, I'm so glad I came. Again, okay. That's a low hanging fruit.
I know. I was just like, your face was very funny about it. What if? Isn't that what? It's corny, but date night. I feel like that implies let's have fun and then fuck.
Yeah.
So
I think the date nights are largely to make a woman feel valuable, though. That he's not phoning it in, that he's making an effort.
Yeah.
It's never like, I catered to him tonight. No, you don't.
Who said that it's supposed to be?
Well, it's for women, I'm saying. It's like Valentine's Day. It ain't for him. It's like, date night's not for him. Date night, it's like...
I think it could be for him.
It's not for him. You're not watching his movie. You're not watching anything.
Women are way cooler than you give credit. Like, and chiller about, like, if guys wants.
Goodbye.
I guess I've only had my limited experience of dating.
Okay.
You've got mail.
Spirit Padre and Madre. Met a girl over the last month. Good vibes. Hanging out a couple times a week. Though still in that area of not knowing if this is going to be a potential long-term relationship or something that's just fun. Question. We both want to get out of town to some sun and have talked about going to Hawaii for a week together soon. Knowing that this is still pretty new and there's definitely a potential for an awkward few days if things go sour, should I say fuck it and just go for it and we both get COVID? I added that part. I feel like worst case is we have fun, meaningless sex, and then maybe we don't talk to each other again after if we decide it's not a long-term fit. Plus, it's hard to not have a good time in Hawaii, right? Is it too early and too risky to travel with someone you don't know well? Advice or experience with this topic?
I don't think it's a good idea.
Interesting.
Even though I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Not during a pandemic. But I don't know. I don't know about it.
I think it's I've done it.
I've done it multiple times.
I brought a lady on a group trip.
Ooh, that you didn't know?
Yeah, didn't know her well enough.
Why would you do that?
Because I thought she would, and she mostly did it was just
What was the
beef
What was the
in
negative?
the thing.
It was beef?
It was mild beef, but it's one of those things where like the girl's drunk and it was like my date was a little off, but
Like, was she bombing?
it's too complicated a story.
Okay.
But
Some of her jokes didn't
no, it was too complicated a story, and then a drunk girl got upset and whatever.
Oh God.
But it would have been good. I think it's like, fuck it, get out of the way. You want to go on a trip? Hey lady, it's 70-30 basically. It's just early 70-30, which is you want to go on a trip? I'm going on a trip.
It's not 70-30. This guy's not paying for everything.
Oh, I thought he would.
Oh.
He doesn't mention that, but I just thought he would. But even if he doesn't, good for her.
No, I just mean it's not
Sisters doing it for
70-30.
themselves.
Listen, I'm just saying I thought it's not 70-30. You know what? I think in COVID, people are there's a little tinge of desperation that no one wants to admit. And maybe if things start going awry,
I'm desperate for that vaccine. I know that.
it might butterball of like, oh, you don't like that? Oh, well, you don't like, I don't know. I feel like we're not in fuck it times. If they both are like, who knows?
He didn't mention COVID, so maybe he lives on an earth where there's not a COVID.
He just meant it might be awkward dating.
He just meant it might be awkward to be on a trip with somebody that you realize you don't get along with. I would say roll the dice because you're better off figuring it out early. I actually was talking to somebody about this the other day, and that there should be a version of The Amazing Race where it's all people that have only gone on 2 dates.
That's really funny.
Yeah, and you see
That's
if
really
it's a thing. Is this actual anything? Cool. If not, you're in Hawaii, and you probably had sex twice, which is more than you would have had if you went to Hawaii to try to meet a lady.
What are things open in Hawaii, Will? Okay. So, yeah, they can do stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not even activities. I'm just saying you get there, you're there for 6 days. Day 3, you just realize like, there's nothing, we don't got it.
It's a little awkward though.
Yeah, but
is it worth the awkwardness?
I say you roll the dice.
Goodbye.
Fair.
I say, God bless, son. Roll the dice.
I'm gonna read the next one.
You've got mail.
I have one for you to read. Read this one as well.
Okay. This topic is a bit outdated, but it's gotten me into a few heated conversations. Hi, Neezy Beezy. LOTRBANANAS.
Swing and a miss.
Will, you're
Okay.
killing it right
Here's
now.
a question that my girlfriend's roommate hate for me, I think was had for me. If COVID is disproportionately more fatal to Black and brown communities, a recent study says it's 2 times as deadly, wouldn't it be a stronger sign of support to not march for BLM if one truly cares about negatively affecting Black lives? Disproportionately yours, blank.
I'm assuming they're Black
White.
or brown. Well, disproportionately means
No, because he was, but
disproportionately
he
more
was.
fatal.
No, I thought he meant because he's not.
He mentioned disproportionate. I don't know. I don't know.
I
what
don't
he
know
meant.
what he meant. I just thought it's not unpopular. Like I don't know.
Well,
Who knows?
there were a lot of there was no.
There's not
From
a
what
lot
I
of,
remember, there was no surge from BLM marches.
because everybody was, at least when I marched, everyone had a mask on.
Yeah.
Almost everybody had a mask on, and you're right. There's no surges reported.
Yeah, because I remember going. I mean, I made fun of it here, where it's like that's cool is that COVID doesn't get people seeking social justice at all sick. So I get what you're trying to do, but
Science.
But the science is not borne out, and they're outdoor events. They're not even in airplane hangars. They're on the streets, and also they haven't happened in 6 months. Because the cops have really come around to the needs of the black community.
Goodbye. You've
Hey,
got
Neal and
mail.
Bianca, first time, long time. Thanks so much for everything you do. I was working and living in Vietnam. 2 words. He capitalized the N in Nam. When you dropped episode 1 and in Thailand for a couple years after that, and have recently moved back to the U.S., been a loyal listener throughout.
We've only been
How
here.
long have we
been
we haven't been on 2 years yet. For months, I've been meaning to write in about traveling Southeast Asia, stuff like that. But after this past year and its events, I find myself having to ask something more pressing. I want to comment on both of you agreeing several times since the Capitol riots that the argument of black protesters, rioters being handled differently in the same scenario is so obvious it's not worth discussing. Well, I'm here to tell you, as a lefty living in a right-wing area of the country, currently sharing a house with the right-wing family members, my in-laws, that the race argument still isn't obvious to a lot of white people, or at least they won't admit that it's obvious. Like many, my wife and I spent the summer arguing with our roommates about our support of the BLM protest, being lectured about other rioters and bad actors, and being chastised for using the old Kaepernick Neal as an answer to why don't they take better approach if they've been protesting and rioting for decades and still aren't happy with progress. This is a long fucking letter.
Okay,
this guy's
skim.
saying,
So my question. There we go.
are things this obvious still worth discussing? I'm not saying they're not worth discussing in public. What I'm saying is I don't think anyone listens to this podcast who's on the fence about it. And the thing, if they're comparing the Capitol riots to the BLM riots, there were no black leaders advocating for marches, riots. You got to be strong, tough, trial by combat. They didn't have a rally at the beginning. Who spoke? Like Tyler Perry. Obama didn't speak. That's the difference. Is the head of state and 100 and some odd Congress and Senate members all said that these people had a great point. And people go, AOC. AOC is a fucking House member who's 1 out of 438. And the only reason she gets attention is because she's fucking hot. It's not because she's smarter than anybody. She's not even the most left person.
Right.
She's just very left and incredibly good looking. The hottest member of Congress, maybe hottest elected official in American history. I'm going to go on. So good looking.
She's so good looking.
And 8 first thing in the morning, 9.5 after one of her award-winning tutorials. So, if you need arguments, use the heads of state thing.
Yeah.
Use the call to violence thing, even though it's coded, because Trump is smart enough to not say he did throw in you got to be peaceful. Then why are you sending them up there? And I'll be there with you. You're a pussy. You didn't go anywhere.
Know, he's like, don't touch me.
And then he watched it it was reported near Glee. So that's the difference, is organization and, peaceful protests that, if there were 1,000 people to Black Lives Matter march, maybe 20 of them would end up punching whatever, right. And they did it on their own. It wasn't, they didn't get a call. No one said, I'm doing this because Obama wants me to. There was none of that.
And there, with the Capitol, the insurrection, there's so much premeditation in terms of violence.
Yes, they the texting and the parlor and we're gonna do this.
We all planned. Even in BLM movements, there was planning. There was like, hey, this organization's planning to do this at this time at this place. Yes. So it's not like they were all planned.
If they said 1:30, you knew it was a black march. It'd be more like 2:20.
You motherfucker! Guys,
I do it. I'll give you a duck sauce joke, and then I'll give you a better, more sophisticated racial joke, and that's how I've got a house.
Okay. But if you look at on all of the communication about time and everything, none of it encouraged violence. Not one.
And no one brought weapons. No one brought fucking thingies. No one brought knuckles. No one brought tasers. No one brought
Agent
batons.
Orange.
No one. The scale is so fucking different.
And guess what? How did police die in? What is
apparently one cop got killed during a looting situation. So you can't say no cops died.
Okay.
That's the one.
You can say less cops died.
Pawn shop alarm during a looting.
Well, you can say less cops died.
He was a retired cop, so I don't think he had a uniform on, and he got killed during a looting situation.
More.
They didn't know. They didn't see the cop uniform
and say, "You work for me.
You work. This is our house."
More cops died. Less cops died during the protest where they were yelling, "All cops are bad." Mm-hmm. Yes. And everybody was pretty anti-cop in that. Protest, and less cops
just
died.
Based on their word. Yes.
Yeah. So there's
it's a lie of scale. That's the big thing is. There are similarities in that, like there was a group of people who and there were two groups of people, and they both did bad things. But the reason they have murder and third-degree murder is because murders are not created equal.
Right.
And in this case, insurrections are not created equal. Burning a police station down, which, again, 10 to 20 people tops, in Minneapolis that wasn't coordinated in any way versus storming the Capitol building of the country looking for politicians to murder, kidnap, hang. They had a whole bunch of plans. They're just the scale.
Yeah.
Just one is a poke in the chest and one is a gunshot wound to the chest.
Goodbye.
So that's the difference.
Is this the one you want me to read?
Yes.
You've got mail.
How do I guess? Thanks. Has any man, other than your father maybe, ever treated you better than Neal? Here's my count so far. Rescued your ass from Europe. First class points flight home. Got you into the Twain event, failing New York Times shirts, Blake Griffin Nike card merge, leftover Nike commercial clothes, hoodies, etc. Sprite commercial teacher salary for 2 days of work, genuine friendship, working together on a podcast where it's mutually beneficial, but he is kind of the headliner name, and still, allegedly, gives you all the ad revenue from the reads. There are probably many more pros we don't know about. Maybe some cons here and there, but that's for another time. Right now, we are gassing Neal up. So just curious, has any guy ever been as kind and genuine to you in life as Neal? Or is this kind white man as good as it has ever been? I'm not sure what's going on there. Also, Neal, are you playing some real long game? And we are in inning 3 of 9 game, and where you just did the New York Times fall in love game, laying down some more groundwork, building a good solid foundation? If so, I see you, dog. Okay.
A lot to digest.
It's a lot to unpack.
If this was a long game, I would be the biggest simp
Cuck,
in the history.
cuck-ass, simp
simp ass. I did a podcast with her, and then we were friends first, and then I did an episode where we fall in love.
Damn.
I'm
so
not
bad.
worthy of anyone's respect.
Okay,
I mean,
so
it puts a lot out there, and it's a pretty convincing argument.
well,
for-
I will say, Neal
Mm-hmm.
is Neal. You
Yes.
have been a very good friend to me.
You know, the
And-
thing about Neal is when you're with Neal, every night's date night.
Okay. So
Swing and a miss. Swing
Fine.
and a miss.
Fine.
Swing
Again,
and a
I
miss.
realized that we need a home run call
okay.
because I'll take the swings and misses.
Oh
But
God,
when I hit
this
a
is
fucking
turning.
homer,
Okay.
give it to me.
Okay. So, yes, no, based on, and I said this when we've done the questions, and it's always a theme. You're very generous when no one's looking, and you get no credit. Like when you will get no credit.
I'll
just
put money in people's pockets. Then when they don't know, they're looking the other way, and I'll do the opposite of a Lupin.
yeah, opposite of Lupin. It's real. It's a real necklace. And even stories that I know of how generous you've been to other friends, it's so incredibly touching, and you don't play that part up at all. It's just, I think it's really corny for you to just be like, I'm the nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, I am, but
You
it
are,
does-
but you don't really
I don't
talk
seem
about
like
it.
it.
So no, in terms of just being a generous,
you don't
supportive
need to
friend.
answer that.
No,
It
you
was
have.
funny.
I know, but you have, and it's really good. Like, I don't want to bring it up, but there's like one story I always think about that I'm like, Neal is. It didn't involve me, but you're a very good friend. Mm-hmm. So yay.
Let the record show, everybody. Your Honor, I'd like to bring up media
Goodbye.
A for the court, and then they play that.
You've got
Hey,
mail.
Neal and the lady Sphinx, Binks, and Minx at the roller rinks. I'm curious who you all think got the best looking people. Binks is from like 17 different places, and you have both traveled the world a bit and are very open-minded. What country, place, or type of person do you think has the absolute best looking and most appealing mate for your taste? Good. Thanks for your time.
I can tell you it was the worst, but I won't.
Yeah,
say
I
it.
don't. I mean, I could go. I don't know if I talked about it. I found the women of China better looking than I thought, and I
They're
found
really
the
cute.
women of Japan worse looking because
Teeth.
their teeth is a nightmare. It's just a nightmare, and
British? You never.
British, they
is bad.
kind of turned the
They
the
have.
corner.
They have.
They've kind of rounded the corner. But yeah, what the Japanese are doing, it's the opposite of what they did for electronics, where they're doing nothing.
No innovation.
Yeah, there's no innovation. They won't even use They won't even use like 1800s technology
Right.
and yellow and just like, everyone do better.
Shut up, Neal. That's
So
so mean.
that's the Japanese for you.
I'm not going to tell you who I think is the least attractive.
Okay.
Because I think it's a little mean. But most attractive, the Portuguese, they are so goddamn good looking.
I don't know any Portuguese.
Ugh,
I haven't dealt with any.
Because they're all a mix of
Portuguese got
Beautiful
a train
African-
run on them. Much like
beautiful African
much like
nations,
it,
Brazil,
Philippines.
Cape Verdean, Capo Verde. And they're, well, I don't know about all these people. But
They're good looking.
They're really
I'm
good
looking. Right
looking.
now. I mean, they're the
On an
women
average,
are
they're just-
women are up my alley.
Oh yeah, you would like all the women.
Yeah.
When I went there, everyone was good looking. Yeah, they kind of all look like that, but like maybe less hot, like that and a little less hot.
Yeah. They're all like there's more sevens. It feels like.
Yeah, it's like the average is
A
higher.
lot of sevens.
I'm not saying they're the most stunning people in the world, but the average. I mean, I remember the bus driver was so hot. There was me and my friend walked by a homeless man. He looked like a model. Everyone was very attractive.
Yeah. Yeah. Where
they
have
were-
I been? Where are the
trying to
best
think.
looking women?
It's pronounced Iran.
I don't really that I've
guys
been.
The guys in Iran are good looking, but they're really cheesy looking.
Yeah.
Butterfly. Everyone's in the 70s, 60s. Butterfly collars, slicked hair.
Whose style's worse? Iranians in LA or Iranians in Tehran?
Iranians in LA for sure.
It's worse.
Yeah, in Tehran there's like some kind of foreign style that's a little cool.
A lot of tight jackets.
It's
that type
dated,
thing.
but it's kind of interesting.
I'm gonna go women. I go with Thailand. Just because I feel like, I don't know. It just seems like they're the best of the Asians in person. Filipinos, I didn't really meet any Filipino women when I was there. I didn't really meet any Thai women either, but just looking
What
at
you
them,
saw,
yeah,
gawking
out of my
your hungry
out of
eyes?
my Uber.
with your hungry hazels.
My Uber that cost an amount that I don't understand.
In Hrupels.
109 burpees or something. You go, okay, 109 burpees. Cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
but
Spain didn't notice like an uptick.
what about Australia?
Haven't been, but I
haven't?
get the feeling I would really like the women of Australia. I like Australian women's personalities.
Funny thing, apparently Australian women not as hot when you go there. Just more.
Is that based on Dalia's joke?
No,
about it,
no.
or-
But then
yeah.
when I heard Dalia's, I was like, I think this might be true because another friend of
Yeah.
mine is. I feel like we get exported really hot Australian women.
Yeah, well, it's
or
the ones
imported,
who are
yeah.
too hot for Australia.
Too
That
hot
literally go
for
like, I can't stay
Australia.
here. The opportunities for a hot person are not enough. I need to go to the big leagues of hotness.
Yeah. Have you been to?
Germany, didn't notice because it was winter. UK, didn't seem especially crazy.
Mexico?
France, French women are good looking. Italian women, you want to talk about like average of a 7?
Hot?
Yeah, and they're wearing, they got their own moped.
Yeah, but everything's leather and a scarf. It's kind of
Yeah, that's
dated.
fine. I get that.
It's all
It's a little
TNT. It's a
Sergio
little
Valenti.
TNT. Johnny Barbados?
Yeah, like I just like it. I like that they're like, no, I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah, right.
And giant sunglasses. They all have giant sunglasses. I like them. And I like their complexion.
Italian women would be such a pain in the ass for you.
Yeah, but we make up.
Ritarde.
We have a calendarini says we have a 6.
Goodbye. You've got mail.
Hey, gang. LSTNER. Neal made a throwaway comment on the last episode that all the man-made shit on Earth weighs more than Earth itself. Paraphrasing a little. This struck me as implausible, if not impossible, so I looked it up. There was a study in Nature which reported that in 2020, human-made materials reach 1.1 trillion tons, which exceeds the mass of all living things on the planet, bacteria, plants, and animals combined, not the mass of the planet itself, which is 5.97 sextillion tons.
Damn.
Cue that they did a study soundbite.
They did a study.
A little late, especially because you could see it on the script. Just an active listener. And then he left his Venmo because people are trying to make active listener more than feeler. Trying to keep you honest. Oh, you know what I forgot to add to active listener? You need to say, I'm an active listener, Ma, which is what I used to say in the joke.
Oh, Ma, yeah.
I'm an active listener, Ma.
Then it starts sounding Vietnamese.
It's love you all, and please be nicer to Will. He's trying his best. It's sometimes, guys,
Hey, listen.
that when someone's best falls short, what do? Dear Neal.
No one cares about me.
Even the fact that there's 1.1 trillion tons of our garbage is disgusting and makes me want to vomit.
This is my problem I have. Okay, I've lived in a few countries. So a lot of countries burn their shit, which helps in terms
Especially
of
Germany in the 40s. Go ahead.
Oh, wow. It's
Go
just
ahead.
everybody. UN. He's the UN. He's the UN of insults.
Yeah, the Jews can get it.
Goodbye, home run.
They've had enough. Will. Neal. Will. White guys.
Thank you, Will.
So burning your trash, better for the land waste, not good for global warming.
No, of course not.
So
I'm
then-
just saying we just need.
I'm just like, what do
less-
we do?
I mean, again, you're talking to guys that had a compost for 2 weeks. Some big.
Careful, that
talking
can
a big
get
game.
real nasty.
Oh, if I'm doing it right, I'll suck my own dick. There's no way I'm doing it right.
God.
I'll take my own ribs out, eat
And
them,
give
and
them
then
to-
suck
all
my own
right.
dick. There's no way I'm doing it right. There's no fucking way.
Okay,
I have
'cause-
the right combo.
It's gross.
It isn't gross. I just
No,
don't.
it gets gross
Yeah,
if you
I'm
don't.
sure. Yeah.
So you know.
So something. Do better. Buy less shit, except for Corona.
But do you think it's better to
Nike,
do
Chase.
Ben and
fucking
Jerry's,
Sprite, Ben and
Manscaped,
Jerry's, Manscaped,
Tuft and Needle?
Tuft and Needle, Designer Shoe Warehouse. I could go on and on. Maybe Zillow. We'll see.
Come on, Zillow. So what's the lesser of two evils? Burning it or landing it?
I don't know. Somebody's done the math. I don't know. I don't know what's better.
Can someone tell us?
Hopefully somebody will.
Goodbye.
I'm going on to the next question.
You've got
Question
mail.
for Neal. Talking with friends recently about Eddie Murphy's Raw and Delirious and how killer of a performer Eddie is, and the subject came up about joke writers. My friend thought Eddie had used them, but I'm not so sure. I feel like he melds his impressions, improv, and stand-up so well, and his jokes depend on delivery, not as punchliney as they would be from joke writers of the time. Wondering, did he use writers, or is it all Eddie? Any insight? From what I know, he did not use writers.
Cool.
And I once asked him if he would go to the comic strip and bomb, and he said, "Oh no, N-word, there was no bombing." To me. And I wish I could. Makes you want to say the N-word in public when
Does
someone
it?
says something like that to you.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it does. I'm not going to pretend it does.
You've got mail.
Hey guys, you were comparing Antifa to QAnon types who stormed the Capitol. Antifa staged months of riots in Portland, took over a section of Seattle where people died. There are definitely thousands of these people, a lot more than 80. No, they're not. They don't have leaders and a very loose organization by design, so the media doesn't report on them. How
Wait,
do you
did
know
he really
that,
say
sir?
that?
How
By
do you know that?
design.
To your point about QAnon not living in reality, Antifa are definitely not living in reality. They are fueled by Marxist visions of utopia, critical race theory, white privilege, anarchism. I would argue they are as crazy as the QAnon types. The left are not the good guys, Neal. Both sides have conspiracy bubbles. Again, scale. The left doesn't. No one's in it. My aunt is not in fucking Antifa. Your aunt is in QAnon, sir.
Yeah.
Or your somebody you know is in QAnon. I've never met anyone who's in Antifa.
Yeah.
I've been to Portland. I was in Portland 2 months ago. It was a fucking ghost town. There was no camp set up. It was cleaner than I've ever seen Portland. It might have been seasonal. It might have been, but again, sir, there are huge differences, and they are differences of scale. And at least QAnon, I can point to multiple websites
Right.
and multiple channels on the chans, and whereas Antifa is more like 80. God bless you.
There's a subreddit. Someone sent me the subreddit, and it's about people who has a family member or a significant other that's QAnon, and how to, and it's all like, it's not taking the piss. It's how to be supportive and support them through realizing that
Through your hardship.
seriously, and everything is like, be supportive, say you understand. It's all these ways,
Like Antifa. Like you're supposed to do with Antifa.
and you could have taken out QAnon and put in Alzheimer's, and it was
Yeah,
the same
that's
amount
fine.
of support group.
Yeah.
It's like they're just confused. They don't know really what's going on right now.
Take them to the bathroom in case they need to go to the bathroom.
It's like nobody's doing that for anybody else.
Yeah, of course. Again, it's
Come
a
on,
scale.
come
It's
on.
a dishonesty of scale. Are there people in Antifa? Yeah. Are there many of them? Fuck no. So the idea that there's tons of these people, there's never been an Antifa march. There was basically a QAnon march in D.C.
Yeah.
There's were they in Charlottesville? Yeah, the 80 of them were in Charlottesville. But it's a dishonesty of scale. Steve, you know who you are.
He gave you a.
He then said, "Big fan, Neal. You were the best part of the Comedy Store doc. Your point about there not being a building that has influenced culture more than the store, brilliant. I agree. Wish I'd been a little more cheery about it.
Goodbye.
But I'm giving myself notes.
You've got
hey
mail.
guys, RSTNLE. Is religion basically an older, more accepted form of conspiracy belief? Been reading a lot about how to spot conspiracy beliefs, and noticed that most of it applies to religion as well. Yes, it does.
For sure.
And again, unlike Antifa and QAnon, Marxism's a real ideology that people are allowed to believe in, or not allowed. You can believe that Justice Roberts is part of a pedophile cabal, but it's just not true. Whereas Marxism is an actual belief system. So as is all the other shit they believe. It's religion. It's astrology. It's cult. It's just all the things. It's all the documentary things.
Goodbye. You've got
Hey,
mail.
Neal and Bianca, RSTNLE.
Oh, that's nice.
Sitting on the side of the road in a sketchy part of town on my way from the beginning of my last week of TMS, which is, of course, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is a depression treatment, which I inquired with my psychiatrist about largely because of you. It genuinely touches me. I am a nurse and work with highly complex technology-dependent children, mainly children who live on ventilators. I thought it was dickheads that are addicted to their phones.
It's like, get off your phone.
And their Nintendo Switches, you little brats. Turns out it's a fucking ventilator. The reason I'd pull over is because my eyes started leaking when I heard you describe the dip in the road being paved over after taking ayahuasca. The leaking of my eyes became full-on flooding when I heard you say you never thought you'd need antidepressants again. I had to stop the podcast, pull over, and write the letter. I don't know if that's successful or not. You got to keep the podcast playing, miss.
Come on.
Trying to be swift in describing my journey with anxiety and depression. She did TMS, married, children. When you came off Zoloft, was that under the direction of your psychiatrist? Was your psychiatrist supportive in your ayahuasca journey? I didn't mention it to my psychiatrist, candidly. And so there you go. I titrated off of Zoloft myself because I've done it before, and I know
How to do it.
effectively, and I know how my body is. You know how my body is. Anyway, she's afraid that people aren't going to support her in ayahuasca, including her husband, who she thinks would benefit from it, and her therapist. So yeah.
I mean, when I've even described it to people, I sound corny.
You sound like a fucking goofball.
A goof, and I'm around people who don't really care. So I can imagine, instead of sounding corny and a goofball, I'm like, no, I swear, it could be seen as what the fuck, like you're gonna do drugs in a certain.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna sound really weird to people, but I don't know, man. The benefits outweigh
the looks.
The naysayers, and it's just such a personal journey that when you're done, you won't give a fuck because you'll.
You won't give a fuck. I guess it's just getting her to that place, which is.
Would you? Okay, if you were her, would you tell the?
A funny thing is, I found this out after I did it. My sister had a nanny who was my mom and sister and their kids loved. And the last day, the nanny, I guess because my nephews are grown, the nanny was like, by the way, I do ayahuasca. And my mom and sister were like, what the fuck? Like, she said it unsolicited. She's like, I go to a church, they drink a tea. That's why I'm so great. And my mom's never
Wow.
going to take it. But
they were like, oh, great example.
yeah, they were like, oh, well, that did, they just put
But
it in
if she got there and in her interview said, I do ayahuasca.
No, yeah, she's not getting the job.
No. She's like an ayahuasca Mary Poppins.
No,
Cute.
that's fine.
That's so fun.
Mary ayahuascans. That's not great. It's
You
not a
can
swing and a
workshop
miss,
it.
but
We're
it's
gonna
not great.
workshop it. You can workshop it. Yeah, so
yeah.
would you tell people if you were her and you're like shaky, would you tell?
I would tell the therapist before I told my husband. I mean, I don't want to come in when you're married.
Neal,
Your
not gonna tell
therapist
your
is the
husband?
real impediment, meaning, but there are articles about it just got approved the way shrooms got approved like a decade ago. It's basically shrooms, but just on a different time. It's behind shrooms.
But what if her therapist is not into any alternative medicine?
Then go to a different therapist. Until you find one that does what I want them to do.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't. Just give the therapist the articles.
I just
And
feel
say,
like a lot of people
this
will deter
works,
her.
and something tells me this works.
Yeah.
The thing about ayahuasca is, you feel called to do it.
Yeah.
That everyone mentions, like you feel called to do, like, and you were told to give it a rest by ayahuasca herself.
She said, "Don't come back.
Give it a
for while.
rest. Yeah.
You're good."
And you were like, "Wow, can you define wow?"
I go back.
Like,
I
wait,
just
so
need clarification.
what are we doing?
No. So when I was actually doing it, I mean, you knew I was asking lots of in-depth questions. Had a premonition I was gonna stand up and scream in everyone's face, and it wasn't that far off. But it felt like I was gonna do it whether I liked it or not. Like it almost felt like the moment I was like, okay, I'll do ayahuasca. And you were supposed to do it one weekend, and I was down, and I went to the desert. I went to the Mojave for camping, and
Black people love camping. Go ahead. With all of her looted tents, she went to.
I went with all
Mojave.
black people.
Yep.
And I
Everything
kind
still
of
had the tags on it.
I went. So sorry, you distracted me. God damn it. I went. I was secretly relieved because I signed up. I said, I'm going to do it, and because I technically couldn't, the next time I talked to you, I was like, "Oh, so how was it?" You're like, "Oh no, we're doing it next week instead." I'm like, "Fuck, okay, I'm going to do it," and that is the reason why I felt like fuck it, because I tried to get out of it once, and I was really happy I couldn't do it. So I think you're right. It does kind of talk to you in a way.
Yeah,
moment
I
you
mean,
sign
that was just
yourself up.
Chris's FX schedule, but why we moved weekends.
I know, but then I was I
Yeah,
really.
but I'm
didn't-
with there will be. I don't know when I'm doing it again, but I know I'm doing it again.
If
I
you
knew
want to
when
do
I
it, you
did
do.
it that I was going to do it a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Just,
But
I
feel-
just knew immediately.
If this lady feels like, I think she should just do it.
I think she should too. And you're not going to get results in the same timeline as me. You're not, I buddy of mine did DMT the other day. It is like not fucked up behind it, but it's
no.
like he has PTSD, and it's like we are delicate ecosystems, and
real.
you can't get it done on a schedule.
Mine took, I would say, from the first time, because I only done it once, a month
To seep
and a
in.
half for everything to fully
Yeah.
realize all the benefits. So
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other issue. There's that, and then there's you might not get much from the first time. It might take 5, it might take 10, whatever. It's impossible to know until you sit down with Spirit Padre and have a session.
Goodbye. You've got
Hello,
mail.
Brain Trust. My best friend started dating a woman at the outset of the pandemic. Color me skeptical when I discovered that she was the mother of a 6-year-old infant, and the baby daddy had died a couple months prior from a heroin overdose. She does not have a history of drug use, as far as I can tell. After a couple of months, she straight up ghosted him. Not a word after weeks of attempts from him trying to figure out what happened. Fast forward several months, and she out of nowhere sent him a Merry Christmas text with no explanation of what happened. I told him not to reply and block the number from his phone. Nobody who treats you like that is worth your time. Now, a couple weeks later, I found out that he has actually talking about signing a lease and having her live with him, just as friends, he
Oh
claims.
my
My friend is a
God.
successful professional with a good college education, but had an extremely traumatic upbringing, and I suspect this girl fulfills a lot of emotional wants he has left from unresolved aspects of the trauma. Basically, seems like at best he's walking right into a codependent landmine. Should I talk him out of it, or keep my mouth shut? If so, how to approach the conversation? What do the Binksinator, Ruminator, and Nardo Pensardo?
That's so funny.
I don't think there's much you can say,
Not
old
good.
friend.
Yeah,
It's bad.
it's bad.
Um,
Too bad for you to meddle, almost.
yeah, what do you can't say anything. You just have to let him know he's not getting the deposit back on the lease, whatever happens, and that you kind of just gotta take it. Just don't hang out with him. Don't hang out with the two of them. No. And also, you might want to maybe do you do the thing of like, I don't want to talk about her because I don't think she's good for you.
Yeah, or give it one last, hey, I just want you to know that someone did reach out to you and say this was a bad idea. I love those talks where it's like, you can't say no
Why
one
didn't anybody
cared.
say something?
So just a real solid one. I'm your friend. Do what you want. You know, you only got one life to live, but it's not good. This is not good.
I
would question
I've never
so
had
much.
one of those
No,
talks with somebody.
I have, but nothing to this degree.
Well, that's what Nardo Pensardo. Dear Bianca and Neal, STD RPG.
What?
Nope. STD RPG. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. I caught the COVID even though I've been following the Stasi Lake lockdown rules here in London. I was out on my government mandated daily walk 2 days ago on Regent's Canal, and I walked past Jimmy Carr. Neither of us were wearing masks. Jimmy. So you could let him know he might want to get himself checked out. I like that we're the contact tracer.
Jimmy.
Also, the same thing happened with Idris Elba further down the same canal 4 days before this. I got to get to this canal. So if you know Idris, please give him the heads up. Before the pandy, I also saw Rihanna. She looked incredible in real life, even though she seemed super drunk. That was her. On the same day, I saw Alexander Skarsgård. He looked great. I think he might be a paparazzi, this guy. And Ellie Goulding. She didn't. Anyhow, what are some celebrities you met that look better or worse in real life?
This guy's a meanie. I like it.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know you're good.
I don't play
That's
that.
mean.
Look, if there were
As long
Japanese
as
people, I'd go after them. I got I protect my celebrities.
Is there
the
one
best
you
looking
can
person
say?
I've ever seen
Yeah, it's
in
a good-
person is the model Chrissy Turlington.
Yeah, you like her.
The best looking person I've ever seen in person.
Bradley Cooper is very good looking.
Interesting. Even at Dave's thing?
Brody's thing, which is, sad, but
Yeah.
he looked good.
Interesting.
Chris Paul, he's hot.
Chris Paul is
so
good looking.
good.
Chris
He's
Paul's
so
good looking because
fucking
he's
good
taller
looking.
than you think.
He's
like
way taller than you
6'2",
think.
which in life is bigger than everybody, pretty much.
He's so hot.
And he's
in
got
real life.
very light eyes.
This is like light brown. He's so hot.
Yeah.
He made me nervous. I was
Interesting.
like, fuck, get away.
Yeah, he's cute.
And then he
he's
tipped
in
me
good shape.
$100. It was great.
He's in good shape, even though he looks and may have a gut.
He does not have a gut.
I don't know.
Neal. Who else is good? Yeah, let's just talk about the good ones. Who else is good looking? Guy wise, give a guy.
Who do I think's good looking as a guy? Fuck. Oh, fuck. Who do I think's good looking? I know I have a name.
I know
and
you
can't.
do, and you've said it before.
Well, DiCaprio is one of those things where you see him and he just looks so much like himself that you can't even tell
No, not him.
if he's good looking.
What about?
Who do I know that are heartthrobs? Brad Pitt. Yeah, Brad Pitt's great looking, but that's
But at least he looks good
City.
in
Looks great.
real
and
life.
he's taller than you think.
Hot.
And yeah, he came when I met him. He was with 2 black women. I was like, this fucking guy. This guy
God
fucking.
damn
walks
it,
the walk.
Brad.
He walks the walk. None of this is produced 12 Years a Slave. He started. I don't know what. And I don't know what it meant to hang out with 2 black women. Yeah, Brad Pitt's great looking.
Alexander Skarsgård, I thought I saw him, and I thought he was really short, and then I Googled it, and he's not, so I don't know. Oh, you know who I saw? Liev Schreiber. Short. Very short. Not that that matters, but
It matters.
Not to me, I'm 5'2". So he was, but.
It hasn't stopped most other women that are 5'2". Like women, you got to be tall. That's just one of the things.
I've dated guys 5'9", 5'8".
Yeah, that's still pretty tall. It's like
5'8"
above average.
is not. 5'8" is not
average.
above average.
It's average. It's exactly
He
average.
seemed short to me.
Well, once you warm down with your
up.
attitude.
No. Wait. But you know, it's almost like these leading guys. We think they're so tall. I want them all to be so tall. So when they're short, doesn't mean he's not good looking. But
thinking of athletes who was
so many short athletes.
Danilo Gallinari is
Who
the
the fuck is
basketball
that?
player and he's Italian. He was better looking in person than I would have thought. He was just. I'm just remembering like at a party seeing that guy is like he was just better looking than I would have thought.
Okay, you know who was better looking? Me and Punky. We were leaving the comedy store one time, and we saw the money team. Vans.
Floyd Mayweather?
Floyd Mayweather head to Crazy Girls.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, fuck it, let's go follow Floyd Mayweather. I'm like, okay, fuck it. So we go and we pull over and we change out of all of our stuff. It was so funny. And we go to a strip club and we're just like, we were like bad spies. We were just staring at him. And he was like, girls, pussy popping on a handstand. And we were just staring at him. And he is not that bad looking.
No, just handsome.
He's like more handsome. He's more like scary and a loudmouth and a rich and all these things.
He's a fucking asshole, but he's not bad looking.
But we don't talk about. He's not that bad looking. He's kind of cute. Honestly.
Yeah, I feel like I'm drawing a
handsome.
blank.
Yeah.
With this, and I'm sorry for it.
All right. Well.
The thing I'll say about most actresses that are famous is they all have great skin and fucking 14-pound giant heads.
Yeah. What's up with that?
It's good for camera. That's it.
Okay.
And that's the end of our podcast. That actresses have giant 14-pounders, and we are done.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
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 How you feel? How you feel? How you feel?